Welcome to Starting Nowhere. I'm your host, Brandon. Today is a great episode for the dog lovers as I have my friend Luis Safe, the owner of Safe Canine. Safe Canine provides training for the dogs and their owners, including the mayor of Tampa, Jane Castor. Please enjoy today's episode. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. We got Mr. Luis, owner of Safe Canine, one of the dopest organizations in Tampa. If you have animals and if you have dogs, if you don't have dogs, you got the wrong kind of animal and don't come out. But how you doing, man?
Thanks. Good, brother. Appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been a minute since we've chopped it up. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how we know each other?
Oh, yeah, man. I met at Gracie Tampa South, baby. Best 7A school on the planet. You were my coach. You kicked my ass. You gave me black eye one time. Sparring.
Allegedly. You can't prove anything. There's no evidence of the said black eye. But
No, it was consensual. It was a consensual black eye, so we're good.
A consensual black eye sounds like a different type of thing, I think. But anyway, so man, tell me more about Safe Canine. I wanna know how you got started with that. How'd you get that whole idea running?
Well, I mean, I've always loved dogs, brother. I've always wanted to be some sort of animal person. I always want to work with animals. I knew every single dog breed by the time I was 12, believe it or not. I've always been about dogs. I worked for a company for a while, and I just didn't feel happy with what I was doing. I felt like I wasn't doing it the right way. And, after a few years, I just decided to start my own thing and have my own ideas because I honestly try to understand dogs. I don't just try to create systems. Most people try to create systems. I try to understand dogs and prescribe a certain training that works for that dog. You know what I mean? Whether it's breed or what that dog's been through, it just depends. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man. So then you might actually know the dog breed I have because not a lot of people are familiar with it, but I've got a Norwegian Elkhound, which is
Okay.
not super common here in the South for those of
Not at all, actually.
Mm-mm.
Super rare.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I've met 2 or 3 people who have actually known what he was, and that's usually because they're from up north and they had him when they were kids. That's about it.
Yeah.
Other than that, they ask if he's a shepherd mix. They're like, "What's wrong with your husky?" You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
ask
no,
messed up questions.
that's crazy. Now, what led you to get an elk hound, a working breed?
Oh man, I can fully expose my naivete and then also my ignorance to the proper way to do that. So let me start with I am team adopt, don't shop now. So I did make a
Okay.
mistake back in the day, but when I knew I wanted to get a dog, it was right around the time that I deployed for the first time, and so I started to do some research. And I always knew that I wanted the dog to look like a wolf. Well, I grew up, when White Fang was popular, so I was like, oh, I want an Alaskan White Husky or Alaskan Husky.
Yeah.
And then I started doing research on how they behaved and like how you had to train them and all that type of stuff. And they just didn't seem
Bush
to
dog,
fit.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't seem to fit with what I wanted. And so I just kept looking for a wolfish looking dog. And then
Yeah.
eventually I came across the Norwegian. And then I saw like
Okay.
the breed traits and how they behaved and all the different type of stuff and their size, and that was kind of what I was looking for. Excuse me. So when I got back from deployment, I just saw if anybody had any litters that had been recent, and they just happened to have one like about a hour outside of where I'm from in Ohio. So I went back. I was like, I got to go back home and visit my mom. I haven't seen her since I deployed and everything. Anyways, so let me go ahead and go up there, visit my mom, and let me see if they got any dogs. And then went up there, saw the breeder, and rest is history, man. Brought my little guy home
Nice.
about 11 years ago now. Yeah, because he's about 11 and a half, and I got him when he was 4 months old. So yeah,
Yeah,
we've been together ever
he's
since
a
then,
little
man.
older pup now.
Yeah, but
But yeah,
he's
no, that's awesome.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's, at that age though, too, you probably, what's his drive like nowadays, at
Man,
11 years?
it hasn't changed much when he's up and moving. It just takes him longer to get up. That's about the only difference. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I still try to walk him about a mile in the morning, and then sometimes not very often, let's be honest, but if I got the energy or the time, I'll try to do 2 miles a day, 1 mile in the morning, 1 mile like at night. So he's fine when
Yeah.
he's actually up and moving. It's just it takes him longer to get up, and his hips do get stiff. If he's sitting down
Yeah.
or laying down for too
It's
long, or
joints,
whatever.
man. It's
But
like us, like humans. They just age faster.
yeah,
They all their
exactly.
lifespan is faster. Well, I mean, yeah, even just walking. I mean, sometimes it's just more about stimulating your dog than just walking. Because you got to think about it. These guys come from wolves, man. Wolves can cover 100 kilometers a day, man. They're nomadic. They move. They have to go find the next prey. They don't just sit around. So I mean, us thinking that a mile or two a day, that's just not enough, especially for working breeds. I mean, you got to elk count, so it's really about stimulating them, making them use that little lemon brain that they have, having them figure new things out, learn things, a little obedience, some kind of scent training. That's what's really going to stimulate your dog and really tire him out. You know, most dogs, man, we'll walk them in training, but they'll just overheat, especially in Florida, you know, or I mean, Miami, especially, you know, it's hotter down there. They're just going to overheat for a while. 20 minutes later, they're back up, you know, so it's not really just about walking your dog, man. It's about actually, you know, actively trying to stimulate and work with your dog, you know, just don't have them sitting around there and try to work with them, you know, especially dogs that are built to do something, you know, like elk hounds, shepherds, you know, people nowadays, they want Malinois, you know, super high end working breeds, but not really working them as they should. You know, these dogs are being stimulated in the military. You're a military guy.
Yep.
These guys are working all the time. They're very fulfilled dogs. I mean, you know, whether you agree with all the time, you know, and that's kind of what you need to do for dogs like that, working breeds, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And one of the, again, I by no means am I a professional or anything like that, nor have I done a ton of research, but I just a lot of times try to go off instinct, which is probably bad. But one of the things I've been doing now with him is because this is, I don't know how many times we've moved now since I've had him, but here in Miami, obviously he's a bit older now and everything. I've tried to make him learn the path that we walk. So I've made him go ahead because he's a kind of a nervous dog by nature. He's not the breed trait of being bold and everything that in a lot of ways. So he wants to constantly like walk beside me or walk behind me even and like see me going and then just follow me and stuff. And so I've been forcing him to walk ahead of me. So he's memorizing the path. So now when we get to crossroads and different cross points in the path, he no longer is sitting and waiting for me. He's like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? Now he's like, no, we're going left. I know we go left. We go left every day and everything like that. Yeah. And it got to the point where his confidence got up. He used to be scared of those metal grates in the road, in the sidewalk or whatever, and he wouldn't touch them because he was afraid of the noise they made and everything. Now he doesn't care. He just runs right over and everything. It took, I only started doing that about 2 months ago, but we've lived here for over a year now, walking the same path every day. And he just started the past couple of past couple of weeks of me doing that, him actually getting the confidence to go on the path and not be afraid of everything every few seconds. Cause you know, like I said, I'm in Miami, like the city part. So there's constant stimuli for him. So he's constantly having to focus, you know what I mean, in on what we're doing instead of getting distracted by the garbage truck or whatever else going on, you know?
And that's really good, man. I mean, you're making your dog do it. You're giving your dog experience. You know, that's what most people don't do. My dog's scared of one thing. I'm going to stop doing it. So that dog never learns to overcome that fear. So it's really good on your part. You're helping your dog, you know, desensitize to certain things that are new to them or different, you know, and if your dog's more skittish, they're going to become afraid of it. So what do? What you're doing, you know, you just walk them through it, you know, try to associate it with either a neutral or positive, right? I'll reward you every time you walk by that great, man. Yes, good boy, you know, or just keep walking you through it to where you realize on your own. You know, sometimes a treat will just expedite it for you. But it seems like what you're doing is just fine, man. So your instincts are quite good, I'd say.
Yeah, well,
you don't have to be a you know, it's like, yeah, no question. Of course.
But
you don't got to be a professional for that, bro. I mean, it's sometimes the professionals, man, they just do things that you should probably be doing. You know, like what you're doing, I would probably charge somebody a couple $1,000 to do. You know what I mean? And this is something that just came from you. So that's good. You want to actually interact with your dog. You took the time and you did that. That's what it takes, really. Most people just don't do that. They don't take the time to figure their dogs out or try to push them through something. You know, they rather pay a professional who sometimes it's just worried about money, you know, as opposed to the well-being of that dog. Which again, you seem like a great owner, brother. I don't know, man. I think you might, you know, you want to train dogs. Call me.
I fake it in public well, but I think you jumped into something there that we kind of touched on a little bit before we got up and started recording. Is Miami has some of the worst dog owners I've seen in my entire life because they don't do that. First thing that I see all the time right outside my apartment building, they constantly have them off the leash. And again, I'm not saying you can't have dogs off leash. I'm saying if you have not trained your dog and you haven't properly socialized your dog, put that damn thing on a leash because you're not doing it any favors by letting it run around and getting in fights or getting in other people's face and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, it's man, and I agree, you know, dogs should be free, right? But the thing is, this isn't the wild, you know, and dogs aren't wild animals or domesticated, but at the end of the day, put your dog on a leash, bro, because your dog doesn't know, right? Even the best trained dogs will make mistakes. They'll get triggered. They'll cross the street, bro. They don't know. You know, they don't really know that car, it's not an animal, man. You know, it's moving. It's a moving mass. I mean, it can kill them. Dogs are completely unaware of that. They just focus on one thing, right? I see that squirrel over there, I'm going to go get it. They're not worried about what else. They're just kind of tunnel vision towards it. So, yeah, it's pretty irresponsible, man. If you got a dog, keep it on leash, man, especially in the city. You know, if you had a dog park or at a big field or something, that's fine. But you know, if you're just got a sidewalk, man, it's just dangerous, honestly. And I'm a dog lover, man. I want them to be free, but, you know, safely. You know, safe canine. You want the dogs to be safe, bro. That's really what it's about.
Absolutely. And the second thing that I see is the same thing that this one I don't think is specific to Miami, but I think it's exacerbated by the city living. Is the small dogs not being properly socialized, so they lose their mind. Like again, there's probably I don't know 200-300 people I haven't counted ever in this apartment building, and every time a small dog sees another dog, it loses its mind. I'm like, how have you
Yeah.
socialized your dog if it can't see another dog in its
Yeah.
vicinity ever, and it just can't not go crazy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not
And
properly
that's,
socializing your
yeah.
dog at all.
And that's it. Just again, some people get certain dogs, man, that are naturally timid and they don't socialize. Some dogs have a socialization window as puppies of about from 2 to 6 months, right? Which is when they tend to accept new things a lot easier. After that time span, bro, your dog's been in the crate or in the house most of the time. You haven't taken the time to take your dog out to meet people and other dogs. That can be dangerous. It can be a problem. Dogs are uncomfortable. Most dog aggressions, man, are because that dog is simply uncomfortable, right, with the situation. So as a dog, I'm going to bite, snap, lunge to try to create distance, man, where I'm comfortable with you being at. So if like you're 5 feet away, man, hey, back the fuck up. So I'm going to growl, snap, lunge, bite, and it's not the dog's fault, bro. At the end of the day, they're just trying to communicate something. It's not just, we take this aggression as such a bad thing, when in dogs, man, they just take it in stride. If I'm a dog at a dog park and you got too close and I lunge at you, that dog's probably just gonna either run away or just kind of, again, create distance. Or when we're on leash, for example, too, you're walking your dog on leash, that dog knows he's tethered to you and he can't get away. So fight or flight, right? Well, in dog terms, it's fight, flight, submit, I guess. But I can't go anywhere. I'm tethered to you. So my only option, at least from a dog's perspective, is to bark at you, lunge at you, and pull towards you, right, to get you to back away. And that's something that people don't understand. They just assume, this dog, there's something wrong with this dog. He's a lemon. It's not really the dog, bro. He's not comfortable. And that's something a lot of trainers don't even touch on. It's just, he's trying to be dominant. He's just aggressive. Let's put a prong collar and snap away. It's not the case, bro. That dog's uncomfortable. So until you make that dog comfortable with said situation through either experience or counter conditioning or any kind of real training, not just corrections, then the problem is not going to be solved. You can put an e-collar on a dog all day, but, and stop him from doing it, from the untrained eye, the dog's not doing it, but he's extremely tense because he's more scared of the correction than he is of this said stimulus, so unfortunately, a lot of people just don't know, even trainers. So, and even me, bro, it took me a while to understand that, to just really dig deep and try to, as you start understanding the animal, you start realizing its needs. So most people don't really know needs for their dogs. Just know, hey, there's a problem. He's lunging or he's biting or whatever. You know what I mean? They just don't really look deeper than what they see. They can't talk.
I think the thing you're touching on there, though, is what makes you a good trainer is because you're looking at, all right, what's the root cause of what we're looking at here? You're not trying to treat symptoms. You're trying to treat the root cause of it. And I think a lot of people, especially busy people who are trying to do a million things a day, all they want is a dog to stop doing whatever negative behavior that they're seeing. They don't care why. They don't care why the dog is doing it, nor do they care why the dog stops. They just want to stop. And so they end up doing something that is either detrimental to the dog overall, or it fundamentally changes the dog's personality. And now it becomes more sheltered. It becomes more timid and those type of things.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I think I've done that with my dog. One specific example I can point to is when he was young, I knew about socialization. So I tried to take him to, dog classes, try to take him to all these different things. So we met a bunch of, try to take him around children. And the girl I was living with at the time had a child. And so one time I was trying to tell him to go to his kennel because I was getting ready to leave or something like that. And he ran by and he bumped the baby, knocked her over. I say baby, she was probably like 3, 4 or something like that, toddler anyways. But he bumped her and knocked her over. So I was trying to show him the importance of it and stuff like that. But ultimately, because I did it in such a aggressive way, it just made him scared of babies. So now he's fearful of them. Instead of respecting them, he's just fearful. And so every time he's around them, he's uncomfortable. And again, because I try to pay attention to his behavior, I recognize that. And I'm like, all right, I did that. I messed that up. I made him uncomfortable around babies now. Now, instead of just going, oh, babies need to be protected, they need to be careful around them, he goes, no, they're scary, and I get in trouble when they're around,
Yeah. Hey, dude, you want to sign an application, bro? You want to fill one out? It's like you know what you're doing, man.
Again, for me, it's just trying to pay attention to my dog and seeing him as a sentient creature. You know what I'm saying? He's not somebody who's just there to do what I need him to do and be pretty in my Instagram photo. He's a real living, breathing thing. And so I'm trying to understand what makes him tick And, and then also at the same time, because I am responsible for him, both his safety and the safety of others from him, I try to maintain that sometimes, yes, I understand what you're trying to do, but right now I need you to just do X. Don't worry about everything else. Just X needs to be done at this exact moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me ask you. Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was gonna
Well,
say,
I mean, that's when it comes to being a handler. Being able to handle your dog in situations where, hey, at the end of the day, like I said, they are sentient, but sometimes I need to get a handle on you too. It's not. It's like kids, bro. Sometimes kids know, they know better, but they, you have to, as a parent, you have to put a handle on them, but that doesn't mean there's something wrong with the kid, man. It's just, they're still kids, and dogs don't grow mentally past like a toddler. So us putting all these expectations on dogs, it's like, okay, would you let your 4-year-old just kind of run amok and do whatever? No, dogs don't pass that 3 to 4-year-old stage, when compared to humans. So think about, you're dealing with that level of intelligence no matter how old the dog is. You know what I mean? So yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
oh, well, I'll jump into that in a second, but you just touched on one of the things I was hoping you'd say, because I said this and parents get so mad at me, you know what I'm saying? That basically a dog is a kid who doesn't grow up. I've said that for years because it seemed like a lot of the training techniques, a lot of the child rearing techniques and everything are very similar, but people, again, and I understand it, I'm not trying to hate on parents too much. I love to hate on parents because I don't have kids, but uh, there are a lot of similarities between.
Me too.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between
funny.
raising a child and teaching a dog in the very early stages. And then obviously a child becomes far more complex and far more dangerous. The world is more dangerous for them and everything. And obviously, for most people, they care more about their children than they do their dogs. But there's not a lot of difference, like you said, psychologically when they're at that age. And again, dogs just maintain that their entire life. But I'm so glad you said that, because I knew that had to be true, because I couldn't have just been observing it and been just nuts about how I saw it. But I'm happy to hear you say that for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you guys smiling out here, man. You know quite a bit, bro. It's natural. You're pretty good with dogs, man. I can already sense that, to be honest with you.
I'm just inquisitive, and I don't like to get into anything that I haven't researched. And so when I was looking to get Kambe, my dog's name is Kambe. So when I was looking to get him, I got the book The Culture Clash, and then I also
Gene Donaldson. Hey, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's a good book. It's a great book. I hear that Audible all the time. Love her. Gene Donaldson is awesome.
It's awesome. I haven't read it in a long, long time now, but but before I got him, I got that, and then I also got a couple books specific to his breed, just about health and specific things that they needed to be taken care of, and certain personality things and all that. Here's what I'll save everybody time who has a Norwegian Elk Hound, or you're considering getting Norwegian Elk Hound. There's only 2 things you need to know. One, you need to look into how you're going to keep them from barking nonstop. I've heard my dog at one time bark nonstop, literally for 2 hours straight, because they breathe in when they bark. So he didn't have to stop. Even his throat was almost getting raw and stuff like that. I was like, Jesus, this is nuts. And the second thing, get a vacuum, because they shed like crazy. There is tumbleweeds of fur constantly around the apartment.
Dogs are bred to be out there, bro, in the tundra. So you gotta think about it, man. They're not really bred to be inside. We most dogs, bro, were bred with a specific purpose. When they came from wolves, man, and however that process went, we don't exactly know. But, there's a bunch of theories out there, but we started using them more as tools at first, companions, but also tools, hunting tools, right? Or protection tools, right? We started creating these breeds, man, and it's just for a purpose, not just to be at home and be our beloved Dalmatian. These are carriage dogs, man. Their job is extinct, right? There's nobody's running around in carriage. There don't need Dalmatians running on side of horses anymore. But think about the kind of drive that animal needs to be next to horses for hours on end and run with them. You know what I mean? Take that animal now and you bring him into your home as a puppy, and you go to work for 8 hours a day and come back home tired, walk him. That dog doesn't destroy everything in your house because he's bored. He needs something to do, right? So it's just, again, one of those things, man. Know your breed. And you, brother, you know your breed, man.
Yeah, like I said, I certainly tried to, and I think we lost your video, so I don't know if you can refresh it, but we did. I can still hear you and everything. Up, no, you're back up now. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about. I've seen a couple of people do this, not a lot of people, and I think it's a terrible idea just from the perspective of control. But I don't know, maybe it helps with bonding or something like that. But the waist leashes, the ones that go around the owner's waist and then they come off the side, is that good? Is that bad? What's your thought on that?
If it works for you, cool. I mean, it depends on what you're using it for. If your dog's already trained and you just want to get your dog tethered, he's not going to pull, cool. But if you have a dog that's a hard puller, good luck. You know, he's going to take you wherever he wants to at this point. You're tethered to him. He has all the leverage. So, I mean, again, it depends on the purpose, honestly. Because I find myself, I'll carabine my dogs to my waist here, but they stay by my side. You know, they don't go anywhere. But if I had a heavy puller, and if it's being used as a training tool, I don't think it's effective at all, to be honest with you. But if your dog's already a non-puller and you just want him tethered to you so you can, I guess, go on Instagram, sure, have at it. But,
It's,
you know, besides that, I don't really see a purpose for that.
yeah, the last situation I saw it, and I know for a fact it was a bad idea because it ended bad. But it was a girl walking her roommate's dog, and she, man, had to be like, I don't know, 110 pounds, and I don't know what kind of dog this was, but he at least was somewhere, I would say 60 at least 60, but probably closer to 80 would be my guess. Again, I didn't weigh him. I'm just
It's a
eyeballing here.
large breed, man. It's a large breed.
Right. And again, so he's more than half her weight. He's got a lower center of gravity and all these other things. And so she
Yeah.
had him around the waist. And then my dog and her dog actually got into like a little scrap, nothing serious. Nobody broke any skin or anything, just some growling, you know, that type of stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And then so now we're trying to get it untangled from around her waist. And at the same time, she can't like back away and pull the dog out of there. Stuff like that. So I'm like, this is great. This is exactly why those things are stupid in 90% of these situations we're talking about.
Absolutely, you're right. And I guess one thing I do teach people about leash control, bro. You especially when you're walking your dog or walking two dogs or meeting dogs, you have to, you know, keep that leash in mind. You don't want those leashes to be tangled because if I have to pull my dog out, bro, I need a clear lane. So yeah, that's probably not the best thing if you don't have control over your dog. You know, it's just another instance of us humans being lazy. Grab a leash, man. You know, it's not that hard. Just grab it. You know, put your hand in the handle. I teach people certain ways to hold it, but you know, just grab onto it, bro. It's not that hard. You know.
Laziness and distractedness, well, I don't think it's a word, but distraction, let's say, are the two things that I see from the people here in Miami that I again, why I say I think they're some of the worst dog owners I've seen, because whenever I'm out with my dog, I'm consistently looking at everyone else who's around, the vehicles, all that type of stuff, just to, again, to keep him safe more than anything, because it may sound crass, but I just don't care about other people's dogs. It's my concern is my dog, right?
Your dog should be your number one concern. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, and then so when I'm out walking him, I'm looking at other dog behavior. I'm looking at, can he approach that dog? Is the owner paying attention? Because again, owners know their dog a lot of times. So if they see him coming over and they see him like get apprehensive, like, all right, they don't want him over, I'm not going to let him go say hi or whatever. But a lot of times the owners aren't paying attention, and dogs are very good at faking like they're being friendly until a dog gets close, and then they try to jump, lunge, or snap at him and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. I'm like, dude, pay attention when you're out. Because again, you're not out walking your dog in the country where you may not run into somebody. You're in a highly populated city in a highly populated area where you know you're going to run into other dogs. Pay attention. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, and you know, fortunately, Tampa has gotten a lot better. You know, they actually rated the #1 dog city in the nation recently.
We're rated the #1. I'm sorry.
I think
say that again. Cool, you broke up a little bit.
Dogs, the city for the #1 friendliest city for dogs in the nation.
Okay, so I thought you said all right.
So you know, and honestly, the culture is actually, you know, changing quite a bit in certain areas of town, like, you know, Harbor Island, Channel Side area, South Tampa. People are actually socializing their dogs, man. And honestly, the city's putting a lot of, you know, measures in place, like a lot of more dog parks and stuff. Because dog parks are good if your dog's socialized. If you're using it as a socialization tool, they're awesome. But if you have a dog that's not socialized and you're bringing him to a dog park, it's just a recipe for a disaster. But honestly, I've been going to a few dog parks, training, like Channel Side Dog Park and all these other dog parks, and the culture's, you know, it's changing quite a bit. People are socializing their dogs early, and you see a lot more dogs having fun as opposed to, you know, fighting and all this tense situation that dog parks usually are. I was completely against dog parks for a while, man, but honestly, that's changing because people are becoming more aware, and that's good. And honestly, I think it's because, again, the culture in Tampa. You know, we have a mayor who's actually really good, you know, as far as, you know, keeping people informed, and, you know, that's just what it takes sometimes. A good leader, you know, tell people, hey, man, you know, take your dog out, you know, early, you know, make sure your dog has good experiences. It's not that hard, bro. Honestly, it really isn't. Spend time with your dog, take them out early, and keep taking them out. That way they're experienced and they're comfortable in their settings, you know, new settings, whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. And so that's a good, I think, pivot point to something I wanted to talk to you about, too. I saw it on Instagram or Facebook. I don't recall which first. But how'd you get involved with Mayor Castor? You know, was that through Safe Canine, or that's something more personal? Tell me about that.
It was through Safe Canine. You know, I've worked with a few people from the city of Tampa, a cop buddy of mine as well, who directly referred me. But she actually hired, you know, she interviewed a few trainers, and you know, I met with her, and she decided to sign up with us, man. And that's kind of how, you know, it went. You know, so I've been working with her ever since, and you know, I'm super happy about that. Super excited every single time I go to City Hall to pick up Dessa, which is the name of her dog. Um, it's just super fun to do, man. I think it's awesome.
So let's go ahead and make some. Let's turn this into a gossip show for a second, right? You know, like what traits do her dog have, and what can we make some huge leaps and conclusions about what that says about Mayor Castor and her ability to lead? Let's say her dog was on the left side, so that means that she's obviously a communist, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they have to be on the left side. Well, no, to be honest, she adopted an adult dog already, and she came with, you know, a bunch of pre-installed socialization issues, and that's kind of why I was hired, because she just wasn't comfortable. And you got to think about it, you're the mayor's, not just the mayor's dog, but you're the office dog. So you're going to events with Mayor Jane, you're going to see other people and dogs and cameras and clapping and, you know, all this stuff that to a dog is like, what the fuck is this, you know? So the job for us is just to come in and make her comfortable. You know, a lot of people would just say, hey, put a prong collar on her and snap away when she, you know, when she acts a certain way. But that's not going to, again, like I said earlier, it's not going to teach her anything. You know, the job with her is just to get her comfortable. And honestly, to be honest, Mayor Jane is quite capable human being, man. She's really good. She picks up on things really fast. You know, I taught her how to handle the dog, and she handles her quite well. Obviously, there's still some training to do, because when you get a dog as an adult, they're jaded already, man. Those neural pathways are set. So to change that, it takes time, you know, and she's coming along quite well, you know, Dessa is. And Mary Jane just, again, picks up on all the leadership techniques I teach her, and she does quite fine. So honestly, I think I would rate her as really good, really good, because she picks up quick. And she's not afraid to grab that leash and put her dog into a sit. You know what I mean? She's not pussyfooting about it sometimes. And that's sometimes what you need. You got to drive your dog out of that distraction. You know, you got to get her back in, you know, get her back in line. Hey, pay attention. You know, you're working with me, or you're with me here, not just all this stuff. Like kind of like you mentioned about your dog. You know, you have to, hey, we're still you and me here. You know, don't be afraid. So, but as far as, you know, rating Mary Jane as a handler, I'd say she's coming along quite fine, man. I think she's doing really good, personally. And that's not even sucking up, man. If she wasn't good, I'd tell you right now she's no good. But she tends to be a pretty no-nonsense person, but she's also very understanding. She kind of, you blend those two. It's all about balance in dog training, brother. It's balance. Sometimes you have to crack the whip, but most of the times you don't, man. You have to be, you know, nice to your dog, but sometimes you can't be too nice. You have to be a little more firm. Like raising a child, bro. If you have a child that you're just a yes man parent, you're gonna have a fucking psychopath on your hands. Same thing with dogs. You know, if you have a dog, man, you just let them do whatever and run your house. That's exactly what they're gonna do. Anybody that walks in there is gonna get bit. You know, and it's just a problem. So balance, really.
Yeah, and I'm one.
Does a good job with that.
I'm at the stage now too. If Kambe bit somebody, I would like, what'd you do? I wouldn't question.
Exactly.
I wouldn't question him. Like, what the hell did you do? Why is he biting you? You don't just be
People
biting
think
people.
that dogs, like, you just go up to a dog and pet them, bro. You know?
Oh my god.
It's like you human, bro. Like I just walk up to you and start touching you, like, you know, you're just like, dude, I don't know you. Dogs are social animals, bro, but that doesn't mean they're social with everyone. They're social with the ones they're comfortable around, right? Not every dog is just generalized to just people. You know, most dogs aren't. And of course, you have a culture that kind of teaches that to people. You know, you start watching Clifford the Big Red Dog, you know, reading the book at an early age, and you just assume you can pet dogs. That's not the case.
And let's put this public service announcement out for all the parents out there. It is not my responsibility to train my dog for random kids coming up and petting him. It's your responsibility to train your child not to do that to an animal he doesn't know.
Absolutely, for sure, bro. It's stressful, bro. You're working with an aggressive dog or something, and you just have parents just letting their kids run around and say, "Oh, let me pet the doggy." And this dog, man, he's really afraid of that child. So what is he gonna do? Like he would communicate to any other dog, bro. Snap, growl, bite, right? And unfortunately, that's a death sentence to dogs, you know, because we don't understand their perspective. And I say again, like you said, blame parents, man. You gotta keep a handle on your child, man.
I'll tell you.
And I get it, you know, you want your child to be free and stuff, but dude,
no. I'll tell you right now, if my dog bites a kid, he ain't get a death penalty. We're going to lamb. We about to be fugitives. You know what I'm saying? We about to be in a safe house somewhere. That ain't happening because you didn't know how to trade.
I'm the type of person, bro. Listen, I actually got sued a while back. You know, that's why I had to this is how I got into dog training professionally. When I was like 16, my dog actually bit somebody. You know, I would know like obedience and stuff, but I wasn't a professional dog trainer, and that's kind of what got me into it. My dog bit somebody. I ended up getting sued. I had to hire a trainer to save my dog's life. Dude, I went through loops. Most people would just put their dog down. Dude, I paid the fines. I went through the training. It got me into where I'm at now as a trainer. So I mean, when somebody says, their excuses to, oh, I have to put the dog down, that's not, it's not on the dog, bro. It's on the human. If your dog gets out and bites somebody, for example, it's not on the dog. Like, he's just trying to get out. You see somebody in their territory, you might chase them. And sometimes, you're jogging to a dog that triggers their predatory response, and it's not even. Usually they're not trying to bite to maim you. It's just a nip, a correction. With another dog, it's not even going to puncture their skin. But to a human, you get bruised up now. That's a cause of concern to us, right? We get bruised up, scratched up, and we want to sue and call. He's just communicating as he does, as a dog, so it's not, to them, they don't even know what they're doing, to be honest with you. They're just doing what nature intended. So, or what we intended, because we created them. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm 100% with you there because, as I've always said, it's super unfortunate the way that dogs are viewed in our society, only because, and I would say 9 out of 10 situations, or even 99 out of 100, however you want to get the math down, but dogs are not inherently bad or good. Almost all dogs are come from the standpoint of being able to be a fine animal. You know what I'm saying? There's very few yet. I believe that all dogs are? No, but I think we way overestimate how many of those dogs are. It's just bad people who are training them, bad people who do not continue to train them, and they just let them behave because I'm trying to get my words together here. But essentially, dogs, if they live in your house, can be one way with you and different with other people. And if you let them be that different with other people, they become a danger to other people. That's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no question.
And that's the same way with, like you said, we talked about with children. You know what I mean? There's certain children. If you've been to a restaurant, you've seen a kid running around just causing nonsense. You're like, what's this parent doing? You know what I'm saying?
Man, sit them the fuck down.
Yeah. So what do you think they're doing with their dog? If they've got a dog, you think that dog is well trained? You think that dog is doing everything it should be doing? Absolutely not.
I was gonna say hell no.
Not unless they're Beverly Hills.
I mean, if you can't handle a human child, then good luck with the dog, bro. So dogs don't talk, man.
So let me ask you, what's the number one most common I don't know if I want to say myth or misconception or just something you see with dogs all the time that you want to put out a message to help people understand that they're wrong on, or that they should know this, or whatever it is?
Well, honestly, a lot of the biggest thing is my dog's just trying to be dominant. That's really not the case, bro. Dogs aren't born with this inherent need to dominate you, right? Your dog's walking ahead of you not because he wants to be dominant. You know what I mean? Your dog's not jumping on you because he wants to be dominant, and he's damn sure not attacking people in the house or out in public because he's dominant and he's not respecting you. People kind of got that twisted, and unfortunately, that came from studies in the 70s of captive wolves from different packs that were captured and just thrown in captivity. And those wolves were studied, and their behavior was measured based off that, so pack theory came from that. So these dogs, there's no trust here. So you're throwing food in there and these animals are fighting for it. They're fighting for territory. They're fighting for everything. There's no comfort here. And, dogs come from wolves, but they're not wolves. And even then, our misconception on wolves is extremely, it's just huge. Wolves are not you don't have the alpha that's trying to dominate everyone and the wolf comes in and just dominates itself all the way to the top. That's just not how it works. It's usually an alpha, it's a pair, it's mom and dad, bro. And it's just their children from different litters, As they get older, some leave, some stay, typically females, but they're not out there trying to dominate you. That's just not the case. That's the biggest myth. The dogs aren't, because you watch Cesar Millan back in the day, because he's done a lot better nowadays. But it's all about pack theory and all that stuff. And a lot of trainers still train that way. Most trainers do. And it's just not true. It's not true at all. Dogs are just, they just do what works. Mm-hmm. If I have my bone and you go and try to grab it and I growl at you and snap and you back away, well, that's what works. So next time I'm going to be, more willing to do that to protect my bone, for example. So they're not out there trying to dominate you, man. They're just doing what they feel like they should do. In certain instances, that's all that is.
And I remember that was one of the dumbest things, at least dumb to me, that I read when I was first starting to do research on how to train a dog and how to raise a dog and everything like that. They're like, never let the dog walk in front of you. It always has to walk on your side or behind you. I'm like, That sounds super annoying because when I'm out, again, I told you my only priority is my dog. So I'm constantly looking at him. I'm not trying to turn my head or look behind me the whole time. I want to be able to see him. I want to be able
Bro,
to
yeah, for
watch him when
sure.
he's doing stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to have him walk beside me and behind me. I'm like, I refuse to believe that he's suddenly going to think he's king shit because he's next to me. Excuse me, he's ahead of me. There's no way. I refuse to
Yeah.
believe that.
Bro, I teach people, hey, keep your dog, give your dog, if you give your dog 6 feet of leash, teach them to stay within that 6 feet. Teach them not to pull you, right? Not to be, try to drag you everywhere, but not next to you, bro. That's heel training. And let me tell you something, bro. To reinforce heel training consistently on every single walk, bro, that's really hard to do. Not only that, the walk is supposed to be something that's stimulating to you and your dog, mostly your dog. So if I'm just forcing you to stay at my side because I'm trying to, I guess be dominant, what is your dog? What are you doing? What is your dog learning? They're absolutely nothing other than you're a jerk. You're just keeping me there. I can't sniff. I can't do anything. Dogs, dude, their nose is their main tool, right? Their brains are hardwired through their nose. Like that is the biggest thing to a dog. That's how they see the world. So if I keep you on my side the whole time, bro, I don't let you sniff or, cause that's all they're doing. They're just following a sense. The whole time. That's all they're going in the grass and, they smell the last dog from like 6 years ago that peed in this very same spot. They can smell that, it's just, they're innocent, bro. Like they're not trying to dominate you. So yeah, teaching your dog to stay at your side the whole time is just not fair to your dog. Unless you're doing like obedience trials, I get it. But even then, I mean, some of those dogs don't even want to be there. Humans will do that to glorify themselves and get a medal of some sort or a little, 10-inch trophy, and it's just not fun for the dog. Unless you have a dog that's motivated to do that. You have an Aussie or, any kind of working class dog that has the drive for that and they want to do that, awesome. But if you're just walking your dog, bro, let them sniff, bro. Like, let they can be ahead of you. It's okay. And I teach people that all the time. Most people, unfortunately, a lot of trainers don't teach that. It's heel training. It's trying to glorify yourself as a trainer. Like, I look so good. Look what I make this dog do. And then you start using e-collars and prong collars for that, which, it's unfair to do that. Use those tools for that reason. Because don't get me wrong, I use both of those. And it's just really to break drive, create a certain, break your dog of a certain distraction, or if they're in a certain drive state, I got to get you back to me. So, or gain control of you. But teach your dog just to sit, to stay next to you while you walk. That's just, I think it's unfair, personally. Some people
Absolutely.
might think otherwise.
And then one of the things I've always tried to maintain too is that I brought my dog in my house to be a dog. He's not
Yeah.
he's not a piece of furniture. He's not something to show people. I have not taught him pretty much anything that isn't functional. You know what I mean? And again, I understand, and so let me be clear here. I know that this is a break from some of the more where you train your dog to bond. You also train them just to keep their mind stimulated and things like that or whatever.
Yeah.
I just couldn't bring myself to teach him to like roll over or anything. I was like, it's dumb. I'm never going to need him to do that. I'm never going to want him to do that other than like, oh, look what he can do. You know what I'm saying? So I just never taught him. I never taught him that. I never taught him to shake. I didn't teach him. And again, the only thing he really knows for sure is sit, stay, and I know I have others, but I can't. That's all I can think of right now. And those are the only ones I ever really needed. You know what I'm saying? So.
Absolutely. Stay is probably the most important command, dude. If I stay put, like, I need you to stay, I need you to stay. But functional commands, you touched on that. I only teach functional commands. Sit down, maybe some flashy ones like stand, sit from a down. I have a pretty solid heel that I teach people, but these are all strictly for stimulation. It's just to teach your dog something new. Dogs need to learn new things. It's funny. My girlfriend teaches her dog fun stuff too, like to spin around and she aims like she's shooting at her and dog plays dead. Fun stuff like that. If you do it in a positive way where your dog's actually trying to work towards a reward of some sort, it's working, right? Dogs need to do something. But if you're just doing it to glorify yourself, bro, and your dog's hating its life, then what's the point? I don't really offer that in my training. I don't unless you ask me and it's it's possible. Then yeah, for sure, you'll teach your dog shake or whatever. But they usually get in the way, man. You start trying to teach your dog shake, and that's all they want to do now. You teach them, tell them to go down, and they want to shake your hand now, and start scratching you up, or they think it's okay to start pawing people for a treat. So sometimes, if done incorrectly, your dog will start building. You're just teaching your dog bad habits. Like again, paw. Like your dog's gonna paw everybody now for a treat, thinking that's what it's supposed to do, but you've taught them that. So. Again,
I didn't teach him that, but mine definitely does have that bad habit. Especially that's how I know when it's time to take him to the groomer to get his nails trimmed, because he'll do that or reach out. Because I didn't know this about Norwegians before I got one. I don't know if it's true for all of them, but he absolutely wants to be underfoot 24/7. He wants to be like, if my girlfriend's in the bedroom and I'm in our room where I'm in now, or kind of our office, he will sleep in the middle to be as equally close as he can to be at both of us at any given time a lot of times. But so anyways, when you'll go to walk by him, sometimes he'll reach out and just paw at you. And that's how I know when his nails are getting long, because he'll scratch me. I'm like, crap.
Yeah, no, that's funny. No, yeah, and no, I didn't think. I just meant when I say like pawing, like I know you didn't teach
I
your
know what
dog
you mean.
that.
Yeah,
It's
I know
just
what
in
you mean.
general, like most people just, it's just to be cute or create a video on Instagram, and I don't know. I just have a different perspective on dogs, man, and it's just I try to respect them for what they are. I don't try to, I don't have that. You read Jean Donald's book Culture Clash. She talks about us having this Walt Disney view of dogs, like they're goofy Pluto, and we start humanizing them and anthropomorphizing them. I think that's the term. And that's just not fair to them. They're more like, the B.F. Skinner input output animal, right? They're going to learn, right, based off their experiences and what they see and what they can get away with, what they do, so it's not, they're not humans. Even though, honestly, believe it or not, they're a lot closer to humans. They're getting a lot closer to humans over time as time progresses, to be honest with you. So they are changing over time. I mean, you got to think about it. More animals, dogs that are more bred to be companion animals don't have slanted eyes. They have more rounder eyes. We're breeding them to look more like us, believe it or not. So, I mean, I guess there's something to that, but they're still dogs. They're not humans just yet. Give it a couple million years.
The one thing my dog seems to have never learned is he always tries to, I call it surfing, whenever we're in the car. He tries to stand up and ride the unpredictable waves of the highway or wherever we're going, and he tries to surf. I'm like, dude, just sit down, lay down, and he'll do it for like 30 seconds and he gets back up again. And I don't know if it's him wanting to control or whatever it is, but it's just hilarious. Like, dude, you're gonna fall. You fall every time we do this, and yet you still haven't figured out. Just sit down. When you sit, you never fall. You never fall when you sit or lay down, but you're always trying to stand up and surf these. You don't know where we're going. You can't predict
air currents. Yeah, it's just, again, they see the world through their nose. So, I mean, you think about when you're flying through a highway, man, all that wind is carrying scent. So, I mean, to your dog, that's like probably like doggy crack. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of scents. So, again, it's just so innocent, man. I don't see a dog, bro. I walk into very aggressive dogs. I've seen probably some of the worst dogs you can see, and I don't go in there with the perspective of this is a bad dog, or something was wrong with this dog. There usually is something wrong with them. That's not because they came like that. Something happened, and as they grew up or whatever, they had a bad experience or they weren't socialized or something. Something happened and we have to get to the bottom of it. Unfortunately, think about it. If we treated children the way we treat dogs, it's just something wrong with this kid, just throw him in jail, or put him to sleep. Your child is like, is stealing stuff from their friends or their neighbors. So let's just put them down. It's not fair. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weirdo, about dogs, but it's, I just feel like we're going about it wrong, and, I do see some light though. I think people are getting better over time. There's more information out there, and those who, care to seek it tend, like you, they tend to really have good results, but those who don't, they tend to have, not have the best dogs or best relationship with their dogs.
Well, I think that anybody hears you speak that isn't a complete and utter cynic when it comes to that type of stuff understands that you are looking more so at behavior and those type of things, and looking at the dog, again, like we said before, as a sentient creature, which is important because that shows a dog a certain amount of respect that not everybody else is doing. And I think that shows your true care for them as animals and as just, again, as living beings, period, which I think is why you're able to get the results that you do. Because again, if I hit you with a stick, I can get a certain amount of results for a certain amount of time. But if I convince you to do what I want you to do, I can change you for life. You know what I'm saying? And so it just seems like your strategy for how you're doing it and why you're doing it, more importantly, I think it comes off as very authentic, at least to me. Again, there may be some cynics out there who are seeing as like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Dogs are dumb animals. They're made to be subservient, need to be subservient this way. They'll be pack leaders. And again, that stupid stuff, like, letting the dog in the house before you and like all these just like basic rules that people went with. I don't know. But
for example, I'm glad you touched on that. So in training, I do teach something similar to that where you do walk outside first. But it's not because you have to walk outside first. It's just creating distraction. It's just teaching my dog, hey, even if I walk outside, it doesn't mean you get to walk outside too. This is a boundary for you. Okay. Yeah. You wait for me to release you. It's not because, again, you saw Cesar Millan back in the day, the dog whisperer, he would say things like, oh, you have to be the pack leader. Show him he has the last one that walks out. He doesn't do that anymore. But that's kind of played big onto it. A lot of old school dog trainers did that, and a bunch of horrible stuff too that I don't even want to touch on.
Yeah.
But it's not, again, it's just teaching your dog boundaries, right?
Yeah.
I walk outside doesn't necessarily mean you can walk outside. You wait until somebody tells you it's okay to walk outside, preferably me.
And that's how I try to instill it into my dog. And the way that I do that in showing him the different boundaries, it's just making him sit. And then I'll open the door, let him see the outside and stuff like that, and wait. And then he release by command. Not specifically, like I said, I don't have to walk out in front of him because he has to wait for me to let him go anyways. And I do the same thing when we're coming back in the house and everything like that. So again, I just did that just because in my mind is the same thing you said. He needs to know that's a boundary. He needs to know this isn't all part of it, especially if you're living in an apartment, because when he first moved into an apartment, he thought the entire building was his house. So if he heard a noise anywhere, he's like, somebody's in my house, and he started barking and he would lose his mind and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, he has to understand these four walls or whatever here is our house and not the entire apartment building, So I'm just trying to show him those different boundaries. And then also realistically, to be quite honest, is tell him where not to pee. When you're on this side of the door, pee is not okay. Pee is okay out there. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny. Yeah, no. And again, it's just something that we teach them, so that you teach them, you have to teach them that, bro. People think you teach them that by, beating them up. Dogs don't have a recollective conscious as expanded as we do, at least, So like if my dog pees in front of me, and he's peeing inside the house and I beat him up for it, or I roll up that newspaper, he doesn't learn that it's bad to do it. He just learns that it's unsafe to do it around this person, right? So when you're gone, he's going to do it. But, we think that's spite. They start showing us like submission poses and all this stuff, and we start attributing that to guilt. Oh, he's guilty. The dogs don't really feel guilt, bro. That's not the case at all. They're just scared because they know what's going to happen next. They've connected, you and this pee here. When you come home and there's pee present, I'm probably going to get beat up or yelled at or scolded, or my face can be put in it. That doesn't teach your dog not to do that. It only teaches them to be afraid, when you're around and these variables are present. You, pee, me, I'm in trouble, but it doesn't necessarily stop them from peeing inside the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and going back to the crossover between dogs and humans, this isn't even, I don't think, to my opinion, this does not stop for humans at toddler age, but that's talking about negative reinforcement versus positive reinforcement and those type of things. And for humans, the same exact thing is true. You see it starts in children, but you see it in adults. So we know speeding is against the law. Do I not speed? No, I just don't speed around cops. You know what I'm saying?
Cops, exactly.
It's the exact same thing. You getting tickets has not stopped me from wanting to speed. It's just told me when and where to speed. That's it.
Yeah, if I see a cop, fuck, while I'm speeding. So yeah, of course, that makes sense.
I think that's the way you should describe it from now on. To how dogs feel. They don't feel guilt. They feel what you feel when you know you're speeding and you see a cop. That immediate dread and like, oh shit.
It's not safe to do so. Yeah, exactly. Dude, you're on point with this stuff, man.
I'm telling you, again, because as soon as I started saying that analogy in my head, I just thought about how I feel when I do see a cop and you speed, and everybody knows that feeling because your heart just drops like, and you're like, all right, did they get me? Did they gonna get that guy?
That dose of adrenaline. And that's the thing, speaking of adrenaline, dogs, that's how they see the world, man. They see things that get triggered. They get an adrenal response, right? So you see my dog freaking out, it's usually because he's just being flooded with adrenaline. He's legitimately scared, so he's showing aggression, right? And he's going to fight to the death. A scared dog, dude, is the scariest thing to deal with because everything is to the death, right? They're fighting to the death. They're afraid. They're legitimately afraid. So I don't know, you touching on, the cops and how that, I just made me think about dogs and their adrenal responses to certain situations. And again, that's, they're scared, man. It's just not, think about it. If you're afraid, bro, you being a fighter, think about you fighting to the death, that's kind of how dogs go about it, man. It's if it's not a correction situation, right. And it's just them legitimately scared of what's going on or cornered, they're fighting to the death, man. They're fighting until, something happens.
So you're saying dogs are all basically like white belts on the mat. Everything's to the death. They have no chill.
Well, you got to think about it this way, man. I mean, we take these animals super young, and it's just like a singularity because even though their parents was taken from their parents way too young at 8 weeks, right? They don't really learn social cues. They don't learn bite inhibition. They don't really learn to communicate. And not every dog, but in a lot of instances, they didn't learn how to communicate effectively as dogs. So you have an animal that's just running off of just pure instincts, no experiences. And we don't speak dog. So, he's just trying to figure out the world with no guidance. And that's, it's pretty sad sometimes to think about it, there you have an animal again that you brought in, you know nothing about, and you're being raised in a world that's just, it's I don't even have a word for it. They're just not, they just don't understand what's going on most of the time, and that leads to a certain level of psychosis in a lot of dogs, bro. To be honest with you.
And I can totally see that. If you think about when we're babies and somebody just dropped us off in a foreign land where we don't speak the language, but instead of them treating us as a human, every time we did something, they just hit us. Or they just like, how would you react? How would you behave again as a person? So again, well, to be clear, I am not as so ignorant to say that dogs are humans. Like you said before, I think that they share a lot of traits, but living beings share a lot of traits through the process of living. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to dogs who are domesticated.
It's like bro, like animals, humans and animals share a lot of parallels. I mean, I'm not saying, we're obviously humans are extremely advanced in our communication and our,
some humans,
evolved, I guess.
Some humans. Make sure you
say some humans, yeah.
Some,
no. Yeah. I'd say like most humans don't, like, some humans. But we don't really tend to really respect our animal companions on this planet. I mean, have you seen that documentary, My Octopus Teacher?
Not yet. I've only seen people making fun of it. I haven't watched it yet. Is it actually good?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. It's a lot of it is kind of funny if you see it from a certain perspective. But if you see it from the perspective of, okay, you see how amazing other species are, and how they interact with their environment, and how it's just I think you should check it out. It's some of it is pretty funny too. Don't get me wrong. If you see it from a certain perspective, like he starts like caressing the octopus and stuff. It's kind of
right, because that's what they show in the trailer. And so I remember I'm sitting there with my girl and we're watching it, and the first thing she goes is like, "Is this dude about to bang this octopus? What is going on?" I hope not.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that guy's an absolute fucking beast. The guy's a fucking savage. But yeah, a lot of it is pretty funny too. Like he's like cuddling with but to me it's like, whoa, this wild animal who not only is is like a non-social animal, it's like completely not social, is building a relationship with a completely different species, like it's interesting, I thought, but yeah, a lot of it is pretty funny too, because like you said, he's kind of cuddling with an octopus. But it's, it was interesting. It made me actually want to go dig deeper and try to understand, octopi, funny enough. Go do my research on them.
They are geniuses, man. Well, let me say this. There's been reports, there have been instances where octopi, in captivity and stuff like that have exhibited extremely smart traits. And like to the point where they're like trolls. I'm trying to remember all the details of it, but there was one who was in captivity and they used to like feed it via some box or something like that. And I don't remember how the box got in there, but it hid it in the box just to make them think it was gone. And then they were sort of like, holy crap, how did it get out? And they're trying to find it. And they eventually pull the box and they see that it smashed itself in there just to hide from them and just to piss them off and stuff like that. But like, yeah, octopi, damn, I can't do that, are super smart, man. Or at least, again, there's a lot of reports of them being smart.
Well, yeah, they exhibit quite a bit of intelligence based off their environment, how they interact with their environment. Like, this thing was like battling like sharks in a way, like it would grab like a bunch of seashells and just cover itself, and like it's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm like a person, I don't just love dogs, bro. Obviously dogs are my favorite animal. I work with them every single day and I feel like I understand them quite well, but I have immense appreciation for all of animalia, right? All of the animal world, bro. I feel like they're all very interesting and in their own way. And if you try to respect them for what they are and not try to see them from like just a human perspective, I mean, I feel like we see how amazing they actually are.
Full
different species, not just dogs. Dogs.
Yeah, full 100% disclosure. I'm a straight up punk when it comes to 99.9% of animals. I'm not even lying, man.
Bro, and you should be, honestly, because if we're like butt naked with no tools around most animals, especially predators or even non-predators, we have no shot, bro. We have no shot. If we didn't have tools, bro, we'd be fucked. Like even the dog, bro. If you're like, unless you know a little jujitsu, man, you start rolling with the dog, bro. I mean, good luck. Like good luck. Wolves hunt. They don't just go right for you and maul you to death. They'll cut you. They'll bite, and let you bleed out. So if you're butt naked, wolf, man, good luck. You're gonna bleed out before you know what's going on. So
and One thing I did want to say too about that is I went to what's it called, the Lowry Park Zoo or whatever over there in
Yeah.
Tampa, and I saw, and I think they have wolves there. I think it was there that I was, but anyways, and I saw the wolves, and I've seen wolves before, but I wasn't really paying attention back then. And for whatever reason, this time I did pay attention to the way they move. Because I'm like, oh, I have a dog that looks like a wolf. He's basically coming. And then you see the wolves move, and like, my dog don't move like that.
No,
They're
bro.
so fluid and powerful
Yeah.
that it's way
Yeah, they're
different.
not. Even wolf hybrids, bro. Like wolves are completely different than dogs in so many ways. I mean, they
Yeah.
might look similar, but these are majestic animals. I mean, they look at us. They don't look at us. I mean, obviously they're fearful of us based off,
Experience, yeah.
thousands of years of us hunting them and persecuting them, and trying to,
Mhm.
just eliminate them because we're actually competing for similar resources over time. But, you know, I think they're pretty amazing. I don't like to see wolves in captivity or any animal, bro. I like to just, see them, studied in the wild, in their own environment, not just this fake, like 30 by 30,
Yeah, man.
shelter we built for them in the middle of Tampa. It's like,
And even though I know some of them have good sides to what they do, that's why I stopped
yeah,
going to zoos. I haven't been to
yeah.
zoos in forever. I stopped supporting them. As I don't go to SeaWorld, I don't go to any of those places because it's like you said, man.
Oh, see you, world, man.
Go out to where they're at if you want to study them. Why are you bringing them in just so basically what we're doing, putting them in pens and stuff like that so people can come by, pay $5,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't even know what it costs to go to zoo, but I feel like
I don't either, but I don't
bro,
go to
that's it. That made me sound like those 80-year-olds. Like, go down, here's a nickel, go buy a pack of gum.
Here's
Like,
a
what the
nickel,
hell are you
yeah,
talking
go
about?
Go get a lunch and
Yeah.
get a bus fare and go to Yankees game.
Exactly. But
It's
like,
fine.
so it just, for me, again, it just seems messed up, man, and again, I don't mean to make this too heavy or to make the comparison too ridiculous, but there was a time they did that to humans. You know what I'm saying? There was a time that they actually did that to different races or whatever of humans in different places. And they're like, oh, come look at them and stuff like that. And we understand that it was wrong then. It's wrong again, in my opinion, for animals because you're doing it purely for your own entertainment. There's little to no scientific value of doing that. Kids don't get anything from it other than, oh, look at that pretty tiger. And that's why you see like they have a lot of videos of lions and tigers of how they act in captivity. You know what I mean? Where they like run at the glass. And they
Bro, they're depressed. You're talking about an animal that's supposed to move miles upon miles, daily, and hunt of prey, and hunting prey, dude, like there's no stimulation. I mean, they try. I mean, they make them work for their food and stuff, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
One of the saddest things I've ever seen in person, among the many sad things I've seen in person, I should say, but it was in North Carolina at this random stop. I think we just stopped to get food or gas. I don't remember why we were there. But anyways, you could buy like $1 worth of pellets and you could drop them down into this pen where it's literally like 4 concrete walls. And it was a bear. It was it a grizzly? Some kind of brown bear. Anyways, and dude, this thing was so overweight and just looked super unhealthy and, like you said, depressing. Because all it's doing is sitting in this concrete box and getting food dropped on it for the amusement of like passerbys. And that thing is so unhealthy, man.
Bro, there's a life there, bro. These animals in the wild, dude, pretty amazing. They live their own lives. Like they legitimately live their own lives, for 20 years or something like that. And it's put it into perspective. Like if somebody just dropped you in a box, and just started feeding you with pellets every like 45 minutes, that would suck. You want to do more things, right?
Hey, don't speak for me.
Forage and
say, don't speak for me. You give me a video game. Go ahead, drop them pellets in. I'm cool, man. I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah, you're right, man. PS5, man, coming out soon.
I'd be like 500 pounds just chilling, like, whatever. Where are my pellets? No, I'm just joking, obviously, but yeah, no, man, I'm with you.
That's funny, man. No, but I tell my clients that all the time. As far as training your dog, very important. But you still have to put yourself in your dog's perspective. Like if I were to just grab you and just throw you in a cage and walk away, you'd freak the fuck out too. So when you train dogs, for example, I train them, hey, you're going in for a certain amount of time, you're coming right back out. You ease into it, in and out, until they become comfortable with their crate and they kind of see it more as their home, their den area is a key term, right? So I don't know. Us humans, man, we're kind of lost in a lot of ways. I feel like sometimes, our animal friends, like in the wild, at least, they are living their life with their purpose, while, most humans seek to find one, and it's just different,
Well, I think what you're talking about there, man, is the core elements of what living is for all beings compared to what human life is. Because again, we've gotten so far past, for the most part, the survivability aspect of life.
Yeah.
That we're trying to build these other, culture and all these other things that we add on top of just surviving. And so that's what you're talking about, feeling lost in life because you can survive. I know I'm going to survive to a relative degree, of course. I know I'm going to survive, and I don't have to worry about food. I don't have to worry about shelter. I don't have to worry about safety and all these different things from a general perspective. And so we consistently just try to find other meanings in life where if you're surviving, you don't have time for that. You know what I mean? And not only that, you find the beautiful moments in just surviving. So there's something to be said for that. Now, are you familiar with, I think it's called Into the Wild?
Is it like a documentary or something?
Well, it was a guy who he ended up writing a book from it, but he died. Spoiler alert, he died. But it was about this dude who, for some reason, believed that life only had purpose if you were alone in the woods. And so he started this really naive and misinformed path for him to go to Alaska and just live in the woods by himself. Well, he got there, ate something poisonous, and died. I don't know how long he was there,
shit.
but
did he have any training?
he had a book that he would read about like what you can and can't eat and like some basic survivor skills.
He's
type
not
stuff.
even a survivalist. He's just kind of
because this, bro, we're talking about like this is in the 70s, I think, that he was doing this or something like that. And so they made a movie out of it, and I saw the movie, and of course I'm completely certain the movie left out a bunch of stuff. But I mean, that's the basics of it, right? That the guy believed that life only meant something if you're out there living in the woods. Well, going back to who humans are, we're social animals, so that's just not true. But I do think there is something to be said, and let me be clear. I'm a city boy. I ain't trying to do none of this. This is conceptual for me at best.
I'm right there with you, bro.
but I do think there is something to the concept of like living, off the land, kind of like living closer to nature and that type of stuff. Yeah. So I do see what you're talking about. And again, I think that that's something that people say all the time. Like hunters are a big one. Joe Rogan says this, and I think it's nonsense. I think it's a dumb perspective on the matter. But they're like, oh, it's good to kill an animal because if not, they'd have a violent death. I'm like, yeah, they're animals, so they get to live their life and then potentially have a violent death. So be it. Doesn't make it better because you shoot them 5 years before they get to have that violent death.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just, I don't. Yeah, I agree with you on that. And it's funny because I like Joe Rogan a lot, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You just went in there and killed him. You're not really its natural predator. Mm-hmm. It's not.
And that's the thing I think I appreciate about Joe Rogan and people like him is that he admits he's flawed, and he puts the flaws out there for people to see. And that's kind of what I was hoping to try to do when I started having these conversations and everything, what I mean? Is expose my own flaws because there's plenty of them for sure. But yeah, I respect Joe Rogan for what he's done. And I think he has a lot of good insights and perspectives on things, but that's just one of them I don't happen to agree with. And so be it.
You can't agree with everything. And that's the problem with culture today. Like if we're talking and we have one disagreement,
you're dead to me.
Now we're fucking mortal enemies now. Like, oh, you like fucking blue, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck blue. Like, it's stupid. It's like,
well, let me say one thing about that though. Unless it's Ohio State and that team up north, aka Michigan, that's different. That's blood in, blood out.
That's funny, man. But
you reminded me because you said blue, and that's what they always say. They say go blue.
Yeah. No, it's funny, blue, man. People just. I don't know. I'm not like that, bro. Like you can be completely opposite to me, and I'm not going to judge you based off that. I'm going to judge you based off how you treat me, not how what you believe in. I mean, yeah, you might be an idiot, but whatever, I'd still judge you for who you are, not just your belief. They're your beliefs, bro. That's why they're beliefs, what you believe in. Yeah. That's personal. Like that's nothing to do with me, unless it's affecting me now, but
yeah, then you got to go. It's over.
Yes.
But that's one of the concepts that I've been playing a lot with in my own head is at what point do we cross that line? What point does a disagreement become something fundamentally different that we no longer can be friends or be friendly, be cordial, whatever it is? And I think a lot of people in today's society, particularly because of the way we communicate on social media, but I'll circle back to that. I think that they draw that line too early. I think that they're going way too early on that. You can go I know these are memes. I don't think most people feel that seriously about this, but the pineapple pizza thing, right? You're like, does pineapple go on pizza? And then people are like, screw you, you die, get off my page, whatever. So like, and yes, those are jokes, but I'm saying like, I think, I think that those are the type of things we're talking about. We're looking at, assimilation or you're dead to me, and then at what point do we start to draw those lines? Because at some point, yes, your beliefs will directly affect my ability to live, and therefore we become at odds. But I agree with you. I think that we need to get way better at where we draw that line.
Yeah, if your beliefs are now affecting somebody else, then that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like that for sure, I agree with you on that. But like if you just keep it to yourself, just keep it to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, don't sit there and try to like push it on other people or have it affect other people, in a negative way, like just because you think that's right or wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not with that at all. I
So
feel like everybody should be free to do what you want, unless like you said, it starts affecting you in a negative way. So I don't know.
there was a comedian who I wonder, and I'm saying this because I want to see if you have something similar in the dog world, but he like his daughter got bit by a horse, and then he was talking about, he went online, she wanted to research, and so he was trying to find out, do horses bite people, what should you do when a horse bites, or how do you train a horse not to bite people and stuff like that or whatever. And so he found that there's these communities in the horse world that were like just vehemently on the other side of it, like when a horse bites somebody, you punch him in the face. And then other people
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, I can't believe you'd punch a horse in the face. What's wrong with you?" And it was like that was their thing, that they would be basically willing to kill somebody over, is whether or not you punch a horse in the face. So again, that's a very exaggerated version of that. But is there things in the dog world that you see that where like basically trainers are split on and they're just so violent in their disagreements about it?
Yeah, corrections, for example. I mean, some people just swear by only corrections, right? People think that if I snap this leash hard enough, my dog won't do something anymore, right? I mean, it works sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I mean, some people are I'm more balanced. I'm a balanced trainer, right? I use whatever tools I need to help this dog, right? I'm not gonna limit myself. Now, if something's inhumane to me, I'm absolutely not gonna do it. But in the dog world, I mean, everybody fights. There's nobody like as a dog trainer, no other trainer is going to fully agree with me, and what I do. There's not this consensus of, it's either you just use all treats or you just use all corrections. Like some people use all corrections and they think that's okay to just strangle your dog the whole time and, until they listen. So yeah, I mean, the trainers in the trainers world, I mean, it's really cutthroat, man. Honestly, if you do something that works, they're going to find something that's wrong with it. I don't subscribe to just certain methods. So, I mean, it's not, to me, it's every dog's an individual, bro. And I kind of treat it as such. I don't really, I don't just stick to one thing. So it's kind of hard for me to even go into that too much because I don't really pay attention what other people are doing. I try to I've learned really on my own. Even when I worked for another company, man, I really left because I felt out of love with what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like what I was doing. I felt that I was doing it in just somebody else's way. And, and at the end of the day, I didn't feel like I was connecting with dogs anymore. I was just kind of, forcing them to do what I wanted them to do. Not even trying to understand why they're doing it. Just don't give a shit. Just make you do this, whether you like it or not, whether you're shaking or not, and it's just something that wasn't for me. So, yeah.
Hey man,
Sorry,
like I said,
flashback there, man.
yeah, I'm with you, man. Like I said, I respect your process to it, because again, if you're doing something like this from a place of what I feel like is either understanding or love or whatever you want to call it, I think that you get better results for one, but also you're getting lasting results. You're actually building bonds with these animals, and you're also giving them some kind of dignity in doing so.
Yeah.
And I think it's important.
Absolutely.
Again, because again, like I said, we're getting deep into this conversation. People are like, oh, they're just dogs, shut up, whatever. We used to leave one in the backyard when I was young and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think as we continue to grow and, like I said, get further away from that survivability, we can start to look at things like that in a more complex manner. Because again, you have this thing living with you, this animal living with you. So why would you not want to know what it's actually thinking and try how to communicate it with it in a more effective manner? It's just a simple.
Bro, there's a life behind those eyes. That's why I told you there's a whole life behind those eyes. There's a whole mental process there. There's a being. Just because they can't talk and tell you because they don't have a language like we do. It's just not fair. I don't know. It's just not fair to them.
And again, I know I keep connecting these things to maybe heavier topics, but I just think it's interesting because we're talking. We're at the end of the day, I think what we're talking about, no matter what topic we're floating on, is human psychology, the way that we behave, and all these type of things. So it's interesting because one of the first things that we do to dehumanize somebody is call them an animal. You know what I mean? And so whether you're talking about felons, whether you're talking about a bigot saying that to somebody else, whatever, that's one of the first things we do. It's like, oh, they're an animal. You know what I'm saying? And then we no longer have this in our mind where we have to feel for them as a person. Well, then we look at how we actually treat animals. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing. Because they're an animal, you go, oh, well, I don't have to care about their feelings or thoughts or how they live, even though they're an alive being. And that's just
Yeah.
crazy to me. It makes no sense.
When I was a little kid, I thought differently than people around me when it came to animals, man. I always saw them as, dude, even insects, bro. Like like I always thought, I always wanted to be fair. I don't really kill you, brother. I'll just take you outside. I was that weird kid. I'll just take you outside. I understand that humans have kind of encroached on a lot of different, ecosystems, and it's like there's no room anymore, and these animals are just typically trying to seek shelter or food. I mean, that's all they're looking for. They're not looking to, if you're a spider, you're not looking to scare you because you're in the corner. You're in that corner waiting for a bug to, to appear so you can eat it or whatever. If anything, they're helping you. But I feel like every animal is there for a reason, honestly. I mean, there's before us. I mean, if you take a certain animal from an ecosystem, you ruin that whole ecosystem, like certain, keystone species, for example, and if you look at different niches, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like humans don't think too far past just our own wants and beliefs. We just kind of stick to, what we want to do and see, and try not to understand the other, inhabitants on our planet,
Yeah.
I just, like I said, I just try to see their perspective as well. Man, again, I'm just that weird guy, man, and I'm cool with that. No. Personally. I don't really, doesn't matter what anybody says about that.
Here's the thing I always try to say, and again, this gets a little bit strange in and of itself, but you have to be weird to be above average. You know what I'm saying? If we look at a matter of normal means average to most people, and by most definitions of the word. So to be weird is to be outside of average. So then you get to determine basically based upon what you do with that weirdness, whether you're going to be above average or below average. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You got to embrace your weirdness, man.
Absolutely. Like the one thing that I'm so glad about from growing up in a kind of a different way than a lot of other people did. So I was always a different person. So I never got comfortable with the averageness because I was never average. I wasn't surrounded by people who were like me. So I got comfortable being different than other people, and that's allowed me to be, I think, a more true version of myself. Now, do I still have pieces of myself that are socialized by, the social mores of those around me and stuff? Absolutely. But I think being comfortable being weird makes you a more authentic person, and I think that just makes you a more interesting person in general. Now, some people are just weird to be weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely a lot of celebrities that I see, for example, who are just, bro, you're just weird. You're just weird. There's nothing behind that weirdness. You're just weird.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even you. You're just trying to make a statement, or you're trying to stick out. You're trying to force it, Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's just a societal thing. I mean, I feel, people used to try to fuck with me all the time because I wasn't like everybody else, man. I knew not that I was better or anything, but that I just, people, whatever they were doing in school or whatever, I just wasn't about that. I just kind of want to do my own. You know what I mean? I didn't want to just be with the crowd. I just rather be by myself because, people just, it's all like a judging, like it's not real. Like, it's people doing things to impress others and all that stuff instead of, like you said, staying true to yourself. I mean, I was lucky enough to have parents that really instilled that to me in a young age. Just be you. I don't have to, just because you got the new J's doesn't mean I have to get them too. You know what I mean? For example, you know, so.
You would talk about weird. I'm a sneakerhead. I have like, I don't know, like 30 pairs of sneakers, something like that. I don't remember, but I hate Jordans. I won't wear Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because again, they're so ubiquitous within the sneaker world and within everybody's everyday life. So I'm not going to get what everybody else has because again, I'm just getting the same version. I'm basically putting on the skin of someone else. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up like a huge Jordan fan anyways. So it doesn't make sense for me to just be rocking Jordan. Again, I'm not saying anybody who wears Jordans is bad or anything like that. Just for me, I'm like, I had one pair of Jordans I owned in my life because we got them at a thrift store because, I didn't grow up with money. So we got them at a thrift store. Only pair of shoes I've ever had stolen. Only pair of shoes. I wore them like the first time I wore them, we went to like a pool or something like that, a public pool, and then shit's got ganked. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want them to begin with because everybody else had them, but I was happy because I finally got a pair and I felt like something and they got stolen. I'm like, bro, I'm out. I'm out on all this. And then you see, what people do for them and everything. So, I mean, I digress, but still, I just think it's interesting. Like you said,
no judging at all. I mean, at all. It's just, I just wouldn't wait hours in line for a pair of shoes. I mean, but that's just me. You know what I mean? That's just,
I did that. I did that.
Oh yeah, you're a sneakerhead.
But me and my girl, before we'd even became like official, we went to Orlando. They had WrestleMania in Orlando, and it was the weekend that oh man, this shows you how much I watch wrestling. Undertaker. It was the weekend that the Undertaker was retiring. So
Okay.
Puma had done a collab with the WWE or WWF. It's E now, right? I think.
Yeah, it's E
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I grew up when it was
Dude,
WWF.
it was E
Again,
like
go
20
back to
years ago. Like,
yeah, go
you're
back
like,
to that. Go back to that nickel for a pack of gum stuff, man.
yeah, man.
I'm mad old right now. Anyways, uh,
That's funny.
and so they released 23 pairs of Undertaker limited edition Pumas, and they came in a giant coffin that when you opened it, it would play his theme
Holy
song and
shit.
everything like that.
That's fucking cool though. That's cool as
Yeah,
shit. Like, and
yeah,
it's
but
like it's gonna be worth some money down the road. Seems like it, they only released 23 and he's retiring. Do you get that autographed?
unfortunately, they weren't worth that much money. I did flip one pair of them because we got two. I got one, and my girlfriend got one, and I flipped it. I paid 500 for them, and then I flipped it for like 1,200. So,
Hey man, that's a lot to me. That's a lot of money, man. I'm a guy that I
oh
sharp
no,
for shooting at Marshalls, bro.
no,
Like you know what I mean?
that is
Like,
a lot of money. I only did that
yeah,
because I planned
that's
to
a
sell
ton of
them.
money.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, yeah, that's to me that's big money for shoes, man.
that's
You know what I mean?
bruh. That is crazy money to me as well. I don't spend that amount. Like I get shoes that I like, and I do have one pair of shoes that I bought myself as a present. I don't remember what I was celebrating at the time. Now they did cost like four something, but those are the
Yeah,
most expensive shoes I have. But bro, there's shoes. The resale on them are like 50 grand. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. I'm like I don't care how much money I make. It's hard for me to ever just conceptually go, yeah, 50 grand for that. That's
yeah,
dope.
and honestly, you're just tapping into it's a collector's thing. So I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
put value on that, So I can't even. It's just not really my thing. But I definitely see, because there's like collectors issues on everything,
Yeah,
cars,
yeah.
baseball cards. I'm probably more the guy when I was younger to be collecting baseball cards.
Hey man,
That's what I
that's
do.
how Gary Vee got started. Gary Vee still does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
who Gary
yeah,
Vee
I
is?
know. I hear. Yeah, I know Gary
Oh
Vee is
yeah, okay, yeah,
Fender. I have one of his audiobooks I listen to sometimes. I think it's
yeah,
Crushing It.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I've heard him touch on that. I don't remember a lot of things, that
No, it's
that
all
he
good, man.
says.
It's all
So
good. Yeah, but he still does that. He still does baseball cards. I think on occasion. His big thing is still doing garage sales where he buys things at garage sales and flips them. But yeah, he came
yeah,
up. That's how he first got started in flipping and all that type of stuff. Was he used to go to conferences or whatever they're called with baseball cards to trade them and to sell them and to try to trade up and all that type of stuff. And that's how he first got his love for business and that whole aspect of it.
yeah, that's cool. No, he's definitely an interesting individual. I mean, I stopped doing baseball cards when I was younger, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I got more into just playing ball. Like me, honestly, my life revolves around waking up. I go do what I love to do, train dogs, man. I come home, go to sleep. I'll play baseball. That's what I do. But, I'm so focused on what I'm doing, man. It's just hard for me sometimes to get into other things other than baseball because I'll always take my
Right.
time out.
One of the things I like about talking to people like you, because I'm very, very different. I don't do what I love every day. You know what I'm saying? My job is a job. I do it for a check, period, point blank. That's it. I got no love for what I do, right?
Yeah.
But so when I talk to people who do what they love, I'm envious, but at the same time, I respect it more than anything. I respect that you went for something that you actually enjoy doing, that you believe in, instead of just what I consider myself doing, which is selling pieces of myself to get a check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always respect people who do that because it's just something that wasn't within me. You know what I mean? I couldn't go out there and chase. For one, anything that I like doing, I like it for a couple months and I stop. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, it's not people, you know what I'm saying? And not my girlfriend. I don't need anybody trying to play this back and get me in trouble. But when it comes
Don't
to
count it, man, because if I say something, I'll get in trouble too. So
yeah,
moving on.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. But so like for activities. So when I see somebody who's like, man, like you said, I can see you waking up in the morning smiling because you get to go train dogs and stuff like that. And because you know what that really is, it's not what people would see on TV, like, oh, he gets to play with dogs. Or like, it's dope. It's like, nah, man, you're dealing with sometimes aggressive dogs. You're dealing with it's not always a good situation, but
Bro,
you
I got a
truly
bunch
love
of
it.
scars, bro. And honestly, even the dogs that do get to bite me, which is very rare, is usually some sort of mistake was made, typically at a consultation, not really in a training setting.
Yeah.
It's I don't even judge that dog, bro. Like I know it's like, okay, dude, I'm a stranger in your home, bro. You got me. I take it, in stride like, another dog would almost, I would never even judge that dog. So yeah, like I just love, like you said, I just love what I do, dude. I mean, it's a risk though, because I didn't take the safe route and, finish school and all that stuff, man. I mean, a lot of times, bro, I had negative numbers in my bank account, man, because I'm still pushing for what I love, and I'm still gonna push, no matter what, So it's still something that it just makes me happy, bro. Like it's weird for me. And that's just like me as a person, bro. I only kind of try to do things that I actually genuinely like to do. I don't try to force anything, to be honest with you. And I'm pretty sure you know this because we've talked before, but I'm a cancer survivor. So, I mean, I try to stay away from things that I don't like, to be honest with you. You know, not things that don't make me better. Obviously, you got to push yourself and everything in this world. But if I'm doing something, it's probably because I like to do that. Like, for example, training dogs or baseball, even MMA, where I'm trying to get back into, man. Like, it's hard for me to stay consistent. But I love the gym, bro. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way. But yeah, you know, just do it. You know, you're doing podcasts though, man.
Well,
that's
I mean,
something that you're really good at it. You know, it seems like you're pretty
thanks,
good
man.
at what you're doing. You're real smooth with it. So I mean, you're doing something you love right now. So.
But bro,
You know?
I'm telling you, this is completely self-serving more than anything because I just love talking to people, and this gives me an excuse to do it. Not, you know, and I think again that's a weird thing. Maybe it's my own self-consciousness, but I don't just call up and talk to people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, hey man, what you doing? Let's holler, let's chop something up or whatever. But now that I have a purpose and a reason to do that, you know, when was the last time you and I talked? It's been a minute, man. You know what I'm saying?
Been a minute, man.
I talked to a dude a couple weeks ago or whatever. I haven't talked to that dude since high school. It's been 20 some years. You know what I'm saying? Wait.
Yeah.
No, not 20 years. I haven't been out of high school that long. See, I don't know what I'm doing there, man. But but the point is, I haven't talked to the dude since high school. You know what I'm saying? And so, but then because I'm doing this now I have a purpose to do it. It was something I do. So yeah, this is just me doing stuff I like, which is just talking to people. I think people are far more interesting than we give them credit for. You know what I'm saying? Like again, somebody like yourself, cancer survivor, out there training dogs and all this stuff.
Absolutely.
And man, you got
sure.
that solid beard going on too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta respect
I gotta trim
that.
this thing, man. I gotta line it up or something, man. I'm bad.
I normally try to trim mine up before I jump on video, but I was running behind today, so I just washed and you know what I'm saying, moisturized, and that was it.
Me
Like
too,
I'm on
man.
here.
I had to like wash because I came from training all day, so
Yeah.
I had to wash. I told you I had to wash my face and try to put some sort of shape on this thing because it's grizzly, man. It's bad.
Bro,
It was bad.
look, I'm bald now or buzz cut anyway. I don't have like a lot of hair and stuff. So like I wake up in the morning, you know, I used to have long hair back in the day, like past my shoulders and everything like that. And I used to hate that, having to wake up and have to do something with it or whatever. And I'm like, cool, now I don't do that. Now I'm bald, you know, and that's dope. But now I got this beard, man. This shit be looking wild when you get up. Sometimes you get like the triangle where it's like flat on the sides with then pointed.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's all lopsided. I mean, no, I wake up, man, it's pretty bad.
That's why I think it's funny when people are talking about like beards as like some sign of masculinity. I'm like, bro, the modern beard ain't no sign of masculinity unless you're going out and not trimming it. If not, you're just like anything you try to make fun of a woman for doing. I'm in the mirror trying to comb out, like pat it down and do it. I'm like, come on.
They got beard like hot comb beard straighteners now, man.
I've seen those. I'm scared as hell, bro. I'd burn the shit out of my face. I know I would, but like,
no, me too. I'm scared, but you know, I might buy one.
Hey, bro.
To be honest with you, straighten this thing out in the mornings and.
Hey, if you do hit me up, man, let me know what's up. Because I've told you, I'm telling you, I've thought about it so many times, and my girls show me like, oh, look at this one. I'm like, that looks cool, but I'm like, I know I'm gonna burn my face. My whole face up. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, that's the one thing. Yeah, that's the only thing that's holding me back from buying it. It's like, am I actually gonna use this when I buy it? Because it looks good, the results look good, but
this is the motivation, this conversation right now, so you can be my guinea pig. So you go out and you get it, and then you tell me how it
goes if I buy it.
Yeah, or your face will let me know. You come back and you all scarred up over here and everything like that. I'm like, hey, was that a dog or is that comb?
Scraggly, yeah, or like or have you seen those videos, man? When you know, like girls the curling iron, they leave it on too long and they pull, and it's just like their whole fucking like hair goes with it. That you know, if I have like half of my beard's gone or something like that. That's one of those fears.
Bro, the weirdest thing, because I was military for a long time, so I couldn't grow a beard. So like the first thing I did when I got, I'm like, oh, I'm growing a beard for sure. I have a spot underneath the left side here. It's smooth as I'm touching it right now. Not a single hair will grow there. It's like this size or something like that or whatever, right? No hair will grow there. Period. I'm like, this is the weirdest shit ever. Why do I got a crop circle in my damn beard? This don't make any sense.
No, that's funny, man. I always told you just let it grow, man. The longer it gets, the more it hides things, man. That's just how it goes, you know. I mean, it doesn't work for everybody, but you know, for me it does because I mean, I don't have like much here, you know. It's kind of it gets longer, so it looks fuller, you know.
Beards, like I said, man, beards are such a weird
smoke and mirrors, a lot of it.
They're super weird just because they grow in the.
It's honestly, if I shave my beard, bro, I don't even feel the same. Yeah, and I don't feel the same if I shave my beard. Man. I just feel naked. You feel that breeze on your face, man. The sweat. Yeah, I don't know. It's it's different.
Yeah, I shaved
Oh man.
I think it was earlier this year or something like that or whatever, man. And I'm like, nah, never again. Not until I got to drop weight. If I'm not gonna have a beard, I got to drop weight, bro. I look like a turtle. I can't do this shit.
Bro, for sure. No, for sure. That double chin, man. That, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and not only that, my friends make fun of me nonstop. Like when I shave my beard, I gotta stay home. I gotta go home, you know, until I get some kind of stubble, you know, because if not, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get roasted.
That's good. That's gonna be the new thing,
Nonstop
man.
with my friends.
That's gonna be the new thing. If I shave, I'm like, bro, I got COVID. I can't go nowhere. You gotta wait till that beard grows back.
Yeah,
If you stay
COVID.
home,
Yeah.
I got
Hey,
COVID.
that's one thing about that's one of the only positive about COVID is I'm sick now. I get to stay home. You know,
Yeah, exactly, man. That's wild, bro.
that's
So tell me, man, how's 2020 been for you personally, but also for Safe Canine for the business?
well, it's business wise not really good, man. I feel like I've had more time, I guess, to stay home, you know, and just kind of enjoy that, I guess, trying to look at the positives. I mean, business wise, it's kind of hard because what I do is very personal, man. I come into people's homes, so I come in and out. So not a lot of people, you know, want that, you know, especially if you're scared of COVID or something like that, or you know, you have somebody that's coming from home to home, so they don't know what I'm carrying, you know, from one home to the next. So I completely understand that. So even when it first kind of came out, we stopped training period for a couple months, to be honest with you. And so business wise, not the best. What really bothers me the most is I have a group class that I did for free at Curtis Hickson, and I haven't got to do that since COVID. So that's kind of really the biggest drag for me personally, because I actually like that. It was a free class, and you know, go out there and help dogs, you know. So I don't get to do that. So that's really the biggest drawback for me personally, to be honest with you. But honestly, I mean, I guess you get stay home and spend more time with your family and stuff. I mean, that's looking at the positives, you know. That's really, you know, trying to look at the positives. But yeah, staying home with your family and dogs, man. What's better than that? You know,
Yeah,
more time
man.
to kind of figure yourself out. But yeah, COVID, you know, can't wait till this whole thing kind of, you know, either we become immune to it or whatever, you know, something needs to happen and soon. So people losing their sanity, you know, or, you know, disease, man. And it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I
You
think what
know, I'm not a doctor, so I don't really
yeah.
like, I don't like to speak on it like that. Like, I don't like to make definite, you know, statements on it, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm not a virologist, you know, like I don't really know, you know, I know, you know, as much as the layman knows, you know. So I mean, I don't really couldn't guide anyone on it at all, because I don't really know. I just kind of try to do what works for me, man. I haven't got it yet, so thank goodness. You know, it's stuck on knock on wood.
Yeah, but you know the word virologist, so you're a lot farther ahead than a lot of people. So I'll start there. But I do think we are seeing a fundamental shift in the way that we behave uh, for the future, because, again, knowing what we know about this and the fact that, again, comparatively speaking, this
Yeah,
virus does have a relatively low death rate, but again,
yeah,
it's all relative. It's higher than a lot of other things, lower than some other. So imagine what happens when we have one that, say, hits 2%. You know what I mean? A
yeah,
2% death rate. You know what I mean? And what that looks like. So I think that it's going to be very interesting to see what this does for the state of public health and how we behave for these type of things in the future, both
yeah,
positively and negatively. So I am interested in how we come outside the other this. And again, I'm just trying to appreciate the good things where they are, man, because I've had family members who got it. Thankfully,
yeah,
nobody passed away. They all survived from that and everything. You know, then we knew Coach Q, of course, who that was a media story because the bro's famous now when
yeah.
he got it, and he seemed to be asymptomatic and everything, so that was good.
Yeah, I feel like
But
it could be anything though.
Q, bro,
I think Q could be anything, man. He's a fucking beast. That
yeah,
guy's
yeah,
I go,
you ain't killing Q with anything short of a 50 cal for sure.
bro, for sure. He's I wouldn't be surprised if he's bulletproof, man.
Well,
You know, I look at Q, man. He's fucking savage, man.
yeah, man, super nice dude though, man. That's the craziest thing I think about Q.
Super humble, bro.
Like I've known Q now, and this is what's crazy is I've known Q since man, 2011. 2011 is when Q and I first started training together and everything like that. So me and him go pretty far back. And that dude, like you said, humble but just down to earth, just mad cool. He's the same
Yeah,
dude he was
super
before the
cool.
UFC, which is
Bro,
dope.
same dude, man. Like he's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah,
And he's that guy. He'll be your coach, but he'll also be your friend too. Like he doesn't think he's better than anyone. Like he just
Yeah.
he's just himself, man. And that's why you appreciate him. Like that's why I appreciate him personally. I think he's actually a good friend, man. And you
Yeah.
know,
Dope dude, but we need to get him to cut that damn hair and that little fifth grader mustache that he grows. He knock that shit off.
I'm planning to go back to sparring on Monday, so I'm gonna keep my comments to myself on that. I'm not trying to get rocked.
Nah, I'm sending them this right now. I'm like, bro, Luis was talking mad shit, son.
Yeah, it's funny. We live like 5 minutes from each other, so I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna say nothing about the mustache. It might,
I'm not gonna stop saying things about the mustache.
You're in Miami, bro. Like,
no, but bro, I tell him every time I see him because I like even saying Q perforated my eardrum and we've hit each other in the head millions of times at this point. It's whatever, but like, no, man, come on, you got to look out for your boys. If I'm not gonna say, people, you're on national TV. People out here saying this about you. I got to come and try to tell you so at least you can make a decision. Either no, screw y'all, I'm doing this, or you be like, man, I didn't even know. Thanks for but I put it on Instagram. I think he said something. I can't remember what I DM and what I say publicly because I get worried about saying stuff publicly now because if people don't do any about it research, which they don't know that I know him, and so it just looks like I'm a hater. So now it looks like legitimately like I'm just talking shit to him, and so they're like, "Hey man, he'd whoop your ass." I'm like, "Yeah, he has." But that's what he said.
Yeah, you don't know that. Yeah, exactly. No, it's funny because he did say something. Should he cut the hair or not? I was actually one of the guys that's for hair. Like, just do it, just grow it, man. Grow it as long as you have it, bro. Because I've lost it before, man, and it just sucks. You know what I mean? Like, so grow that shit, man. I can't really grow hair too much, so.
Bro, he looks like the quarterback from the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's that dude's name? But anyways, that wild dude from the Jaguars. That's what he looks like, man. But I'm with you though, because my plan was after the military, it was supposed to be a beard and dreadlocks, but that male pattern baldness.
I'm Dominican, bro. So I wanted to lock up for a long time, man. Nah. I just feel like I shouldn't.
Nah, again, my hair's like, bro, you ain't getting it. Unless I want to get them weird, like just back of the head dreadlocks, you know what I'm saying? Like that's all I could be able to grow. I'm not trying to do that, man.
No, me, it's like I'll like grow it, but then like the top, I got a little crown missing. So I'm just like, nah, dude, I'd rather
just wear a hat. Do the New York style, man. Just never take your hat off.
Do the Coolio, right? Where you just kind of have
the hat. Bro, don't come for Coolio like that, man. Gangsta's Paradise is a classic, but yeah, them shits was fucked up. You got to do something about that.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. See, Coolio doesn't live 5 minutes from me, man. So
yeah,
so
hey, man. Like I said, I respect Coolio. I respect all the people, man. But bro, you gotta let it go. That was my thing. That was my sign. You know what I'm saying? When it started getting bad, I'm like, bro, just let it go. Like, the only reason I don't shave my head like consistently is because I'm lazy. I keep it short, but
No, me too, for sure. I just keep it short, but like I'm just too lazy. I let it like grow longer, but it's just because I know most of the time I'm wearing hats, I'm training, so it just doesn't bother me as much. And I don't really care what people think, so I should probably more because I'm selling myself. I'm training dogs, I'm selling what I do, but I'm just personally not the type of person that really worries about what others think too much, But I, not shaving is pure laziness, like you said.
But that's the thing that's wild, man. Where we are in society, and again, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, so if my tone's saying that, don't read it that way, but where we are in society is if you truly put off the image of I don't care what I look like, people respect you for that too. And I like that, but there are dudes like that who, bro, they don't care what they're wearing, you know what I'm saying? Do whatever with their grooming and stuff like that, and that's just who they are, and people can respect them for it, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at Roy Nelson with the mullet and the big belly and all that stuff when he used to be, I think he's still fighting, but
he's not in the UFC anymore, is he?
I think he's in Bellator now. I'm pretty sure he's in Bellator, but so I mean that could be you. You could be that dog trainer. You come in looking mad, wild, and disheveled, and like
I don't listen when I go to my clients, brother. I don't fake it. I'm not there just trying to sell you, bro. Like I really don't. Most people, I try to come as genuine as possible and just show them that I'm here to really help you, Yeah. And honestly, I don't even try to close, which, in the business world, it's like, it's a sin. You don't try to close right then and there. I just tell them, hey man, take a few days to think about it and reach out if you want to sign up. I don't try to put pressure on people for that kind of stuff, man. Like I said, I just come real gentle. That's just me personally. I don't try to force myself on people, period. Mm-hmm. So like, even when I sell, like that comes across in that too. Like I'll just, I give you information that I feel is going to help you. And then I just let you make that decision afterwards, so even then.
But from the way I was going to say, from the way you do your business, that's smart though. Because if you close somebody, but you don't have a closing style of business, because if you were to do the dog training, which is very much just get it done, like we were talking about before, e-collars and all that other stuff or whatever, that might work. But because if you close and then came into their house and do what you do with the psychology of it, and then trying to actually connect with the dog and stuff that may take some time, it wouldn't be right for you. They'd be like, nah, you sold me, you need to get this done now. But because you
For
tell
sure.
people who you are and you let them get a day or two to really be certain about it, you're actually building their relationship better. So I would say from a business perspective, you're actually doing it in the way that more fits your business model. Because again, you don't have a quick sell business style. So
It's really is. I don't have like a system, man. I mean, I come from like a training background. It was just completely different. I'm not gonna say any names, but it was just all about selling the deal and getting them done as quickly as possible. So it just wasn't me. So that's why I went in 2014. I just decided to do my own thing. And it's worked out for me so far. I feel like I still got some time to grow. I mean, and hopefully it works out. I think it will. Personally, I feel like the more people I meet and more people kind of, we touch, because it's not just me, I feel like they'll just pick up with time. I'm really, I have a lot of faith in what we do. So
let me ask an insanely stupid question potentially,
Yeah.
right? Have you considered or looked into doing the dog version of telehealth, like a digitized form of it, where you're consulting with people who may not be geographically located near you, and you can kind of see the dog's behavior through a shitty webcam or something?
Well, when COVID hit, I mean, a lot of trainers were going to that. I just, and again, what I do, it's just not, it just wouldn't be as effective. If I'm just teaching you obedience, for example, I can teach you, hey, hold your hand here, hold a treat here, whatever, but when to really change, because I honestly, personally, I seek the dogs that need the most help, and unfortunately, through a webcam, I won't be able to convey the message as strongly as if I was actually there. So, I mean, it might have hurt me business-wise to not go into, I guess the Zoom call style of dog training. I mean, there's probably a place in it for me. I just haven't designed it yet. But it wouldn't be for what I love, which is behavior work, bro. I mean, obedience is fun and all stuff, but I like to, my niche is to try to help the dogs that are, that need the help. The dogs that are going to get put down, if I don't go in there and help them. Like if that was my client, ideally that's the client that I want. The dog that, if I don't come in there and help, they're going to get put down. And a lot of them, it's been like that a lot, bro. A lot of times I go in there and I'm their last shot. They went through a lot of trainers that are a lot cheaper. You got the PetSmart training, a lot of trainers that sell them on their program or whatever. And, they hear my name from somebody and then they reach out and I just go in there and again, I just try to help. So that's what I do, man.
Man,
I genuinely care about what I do.
You sound like you just put out a promo for a reality TV show. I'm telling you, these dogs were on their last legs and then came Louise. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, man, we got something. We can make it work. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying, like, that's how it impact the message that you're saying is so it resounds. Excuse me, I can't even get my words together right now. It's so impactful that I think it actually could translate into something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to market your skills, but you're not doing anything inauthentic. So I don't think there'd be anything wrong with doing something like that. But it's true because, like you said, you're out there trying to actively save these dogs' lives.
Yeah, bro. That's what I really care about. I mean, once we get bigger, I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to these last chance dogs, bro. They're the ones that need the help. That need the help, not the, and don't get me wrong. I would love to train every dog on the planet if I could, but it's really the ones that need the help the most that I'm more concerned about. Not the, necessarily, the 6-week-old Doberman that you want to be trained in protection. We'll take those clients all day. Don't get me wrong. We'll love them just the same, but I'm actively seeking, the dogs in the shelter that are going to get put down, the dogs that get adopted and have issues that, people don't understand, and they get the death penalty because, somebody wasn't, either knowledgeable enough or willing enough to do something about it, or seek the knowledge. So yeah, in that case, I should market myself a little more. I just don't have the platform to try to seek everyone right now.
Yo, man, Len, we need to talk some more about those things. So you give me all kinds of ideas because, like I'm telling you, there's that Netflix show, Last Chance You. You just make the dog version. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Like you good to go.
Hey, let's talk, brother. I know I do realize that I'm a great dog trainer in my own right, but not the best businessman. So, finance guy like yourself, man, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, man, for sure. Like I said, we'll link up and we'll go over some of that stuff. I'll give you some ideas, and like the same thing you did with your dog training. You run with what's authentic for you. You know what I'm saying? We got to sell you. We're not selling a version of you. You know what I'm saying? We're selling you and what you're about and what you're trying to do. So it just needs to be authentic. That's all.
No, yeah, dude. I've been approached a few times about quite a few people, man, and just trying to like, I guess, create a bigger platform, but just not in
Yeah.
a way that I feel like would be what I envision, Safe Canine to be. And like I said, it'll get out there. It's just gonna take me a little bit of time, man, and
Amen.
hopefully
Stay on that
not.
grind. Like you said, you've read Gary Vee's book, or at least pieces of it, and you've heard Gary Vee, and that's what he talks about all the time. And just keep doing it. It's all it's about, consistency, and keep putting in that work. And again, you're doing something that's authentic. And again, now I sound like I'm a Gary Vee ad, but he talks about that too, the authenticity of what you're trying to do. So you're doing it with love, you're doing it with kindness and authenticity, and you're being consistent. I mean, my belief is that that's going to come through for you. You know what I'm saying? But
I appreciate that
yeah,
very
absolutely,
much.
man.
And brother, if you need tips with your dog, like please reach out, bro. Like anything you want to learn. I mean, it seems like you got it handled though, man. You were like the first 5 minutes of this, I was like, wow, dude, come. Like if you were in Tampa, like
my
bring
dog's super chill now, man. He's old. Even if there was new stuff to trade him, I don't think either of us have the energy for it. I'm like, hey man, you ain't gonna bite me, right? He's like, I mean, I might, no, nah. That's what's crazy, man. Because when I got a dog, I told myself in my head, you're signing on to get bit, because that's how they communicate. You can't look at it as a failure in the dog or anything like that. You're signing on to get bit. He is probably only bitten me twice and never broke the skin. And again, I know all dogs, like you were saying before, they bite for a purpose. There's different reasons for it. He always bites to let me know something. And now he's gotten it in his brain that he doesn't have to, that he can just tell me that he wants to bite me. And then I know and he's right. Yeah. If he shows me the body language or something like that, he's like, hey, I don't like that, I'm going to nip at you. And then he's like, all right, cool. I'll chill out. You know what I'm saying? That's all we do now. He just lets me know that he would think about biting me if I was somebody else. And that's it. Yeah, we're good. And we move on.
Yeah, no. And a lot of their bites, man, they're not biting to maim you, man. Honestly, even the dogs that are, it depends on the dog too. I mean, some dogs, again, you read Jean Donaldson's book, and she talks really good on that. In the culture class, she talks about bite inhibition, which is a big thing in the dog world. I mean, as puppies, you got to let them actually. Funny enough, it's the opposite of most people train. It's like, don't let them bite you. It's like you let them bite you, so they learn what's too hard. Yeah, it's an acquired skill, for dogs.
And then the high pitched noise, right?
Yeah, high-pitched noise, or you cut off their social time with you, or you turn and walk away from them. A lot of times, it's not just punishments. I'm just hitting them. I mean, I don't hit dogs, but it's not just corrections. It's not just being physical with your dog. It's not snapping a leash. It's as easy as, look, I walk into somebody's house and the dog's been jumping for years, and people push them, or they do the worst thing, which is petting them. It's like, oh, good job, like, hey, or they give them what the dog wants, so the dog learns to do it. You're reinforcing the behavior. But it's easier sometimes as turning away, giving the dog, a chance to just back off and sit down for a second, and then you pet them. And you're actively communicating that with that dog. I mean, I do it a lot quicker than most people, but it's simple stuff like that, man. Like that it goes a long way. Like I'll walk in and blow somebody's mind with something super simple like that. Yeah. Like you walk in, your dog's jumping, your dog sits down for a second, boom, I go there and mark that dog. Do it 2 or 3 times. Now that dog is just sitting down, waiting for a mark or for me to touch it or whatever, instead of jumping, because usually jumping gets their point across. Some dogs, they like to get pushed. They're physical animals, bro. Dogs that are high drive, they're jumpy like that. They want, they want to be physical with them because they want to play with you. That's how dogs play. They're physical. They don't just, they don't play Tetris or chess or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they play physically. So, just different. That's something I feel like I can talk about for hours though, man. Dogs. I mean, I can sit there and just bore you for 6 straight hours on just dogs.
It would take a while, man, because like I said, I think diving deep into the things people are passionate about are very interesting in and of itself. But more importantly, I mean, I just think it's a worthwhile topic. You know what I'm saying? So dogs are interesting. That's why I have a dog. It's because I was interested in them in general. So I made the mistake though. I don't remember how we got on the subject, but I ended up, anyways, long story short, ended up showing my girlfriend pictures of Norwegian puppies. And so now she spent the rest of the day looking at puppy pictures and stuff like that. I'm like, shit, I'm trying not to get a dog right now, but if I keep showing pictures of puppies, this is where we're going to get.
Yeah, no, 2 dogs, man, it's double the food cost, double the vet cost, double everything.
That's what I said, man. That's the big thing, especially because as not Lord forbid, but my dog's getting older, bro. The reality is he's getting older, and he was intact until earlier this year when he got tumors, and I had to have him castrated because of that, because to get the tumors, did the biopsy and everything like that, everything came out good, no invasive cancer or anything like that. but it was just weird because now his behavior is different. You know what I'm saying? Which
Yeah.
to be expected to some degree. But now that he has been castrated, his behavior is different. So as I look at things like that, as he continues to age, we're looking at a higher vet cost. We're looking at him needing more care, potentially medicine and all these other things. I'm like, I don't know if this is the environment I want to bring a new dog into. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. No question. And as far as like, like neutering or which is castrating a dog. I mean, I feel like there's a space for that later in the dog's, lifespan. I mean, in most instances that I've seen, it doesn't really change the behavior. Like some people like, have a dog that mounts or, is aggressive or whatever. And they think just, neutering them or castrating, because that's exactly what you're doing.
yeah.
It's going to change the behavior. And most of the time it really doesn't, to be honest. The dog is jaded in how he is. And it's not because he has doggy testicles, it's because this is the dog that he is. So they'll still do the same behaviors for the most part.
When I say changing behaviors, I mean to very small ones. Like now he doesn't mark. He just goes out. Whenever I take him out, he just pees all in one go. He doesn't mark anymore. Just goes all he has. So it's like an old man pee. Like, when you get up in the morning, first thing in the morning, and he even gets that squinty eye, like that's all he does.
Oh,
that's the main difference. He doesn't mark anymore. He just goes one big time in the beginning of the walk.
Yeah.
He doesn't pee anymore the rest of the walk.
Yeah, because I'm just not big on like puppies for just puppies. Honestly, if your dog is like below a year, I don't think you should, neuter them that early. Because think about it, man. This is hormones, testosterone, man. Think about bone density, muscle mass. I mean, that's their main, gland for testosterone, just like us, they're mammals. So, I'm not a big, biochemist or, like I'm not a degreed biologist or anything like that. But I feel like, they came onto this planet a certain way, man. You shouldn't change them that early, you know.
So that was my thing, man, to be honest with you, and I'm glad we got into this. I did want to kind of pick your brain about this a little bit and see what your thoughts are, but that was, for me, the ethics of it. I'm not getting a dog just to start chopping things off his body. You know what I'm saying? That's not, we can't sit there and say, oh, well, this dog is flawed and we have to fix him in this way and stuff like that, and that makes him better. I'm like, that makes him better maybe for your domestication, but I'm not bringing him in here to start hacking stuff up and making, so like the ethics for me were like, nah, bro, he's a male dog. He's going to have his testicles until such a time that his testicles become a health risk to him.
And hazard for him. Absolutely. Yeah. No question. I agree with that 100%. That's how you should be about it. Honestly, if everybody's more like that, it'd be better. Now, I also get it. Stray animals, overpopulation. I get that, man. You don't want to create animals in this world that are just going to suffer, and just for sure. If you get an animal, that's why dogs come neutered from the pound and stuff because of that, where they come from, so I don't know. I just, like I said, they should. And funny enough, dogs that aren't neutered, so dogs that are intact, people assume like, oh, they're just more aggressive. A lot of times, other dogs sense that excess testosterone or just that testosterone in them, and become more intimidated by this dog, because of that testosterone. So you got to think about it that way too. That's just a concept, just a thought, So sometimes those dogs get into more fights in social settings. It's because maybe that other dog is also tense as well around this dog. You got to think about it that way too.
The only fights my dog ever gets into, and I don't know what this is, my dog is prejudiced. He hates huskies. He does not like huskies, dude. It's the weirdest freaking thing.
Did you ever have a bad experience with a husky?
Not that I can recall. And again, it may be something as simple as like you're talking about. That's my belief too, is it has to be something. But I like to, again, I don't actually believe this. So let me be clear. I'm not stupid in this way. But I like to believe that because he gets confused with a husky so much, that he's like, nah, man, I ain't no damn husky. Huskies are punk. So he always gets mad at him. But no, like legitimately, and it happened, was it yesterday or the day before? But recently anyways. And it's like, oh, is he friendly? I'm like, he is, but he doesn't like huskies. And then the huskies wanted to play, and he's like, ah, and I'm like, see, I told you, he don't like huskies. I don't know what it is about huskies. Yeah. That is the only breed of dog that he consistently does not like. Every other dog, small, big, whatever, he's cool with, but huskies, he's not about it. Hates them for whatever reason.
There's a reason in there, man.
If
we were to dig back in his doggy memories, his memoirs, doggy. If he were to ever to write a doggy memoir, he'd probably write it in there,
Yeah, like, I'm with you. Like I said, I'm not foolish enough to believe that he just doesn't like him because he doesn't like him. Like, nah, something happened at some point. Some husky did something to him. But the weirdest part is he almost got killed by a pit bull once. Doesn't have any problems with pit bulls. Still likes him. It doesn't change his behavior at all.
Pit bulls are strong, man. I mean, that's the thing. A bite from a pit bull, their bite strength is just incredible. Like their masseter muscles and temporal muscles, man. They just create. Think about it. An animal that creates such a strong bite force that people legitimately still think that they can lock their jaws.
Yeah,
which is, like that's just not physically possible. They can't do that. Just their jaw like separates and like it just, but they're just. I think pit bulls are amazing. They're actually very I have a pit bull, so I might be a little biased, but they're actually very close to humans, and they're very reliant on humans. They're not, they're not like they're not a really a true working class dog right now.
Yeah.
Like they're more companions. They're the nanny dog. They, they're very very dependent on humans and
Yeah.
human interaction. A lot of them. They're not like a lot of shepherds, especially if you get a German shepherd, like a real working class, working bred German shepherd. They're more aloof to you than a dog like a pit bull.
Yeah.
Pit bull. More than likely gonna want to be with you. Maybe not every dog in the world, but they're gonna want to. They're like my pit bull is like super tied to me.
Yeah.
He wants to be with me. He doesn't really care about the dog.
Yeah.
So I think they're like a people's dog. They just get they get a bad name, man, because what, they can do a lot of damage, and there's a lot of irresponsible dog owners out there that don't know. Like you said, if you a pit bull off leash, man, a pit bull that's not socialized, be afraid, because he can do some damage. If you don't know how to stop him or curb it.
Right, and it wasn't just pit bull's fault, so I'm not like trying to build a case against pit bulls, because like I said, my best friend has a pit bull. Kambe has lived with a pit bull. You know what I'm saying? So it's not pit bulls. What it was is he was staying with my uncle. I think I was either deployed, getting ready to deploy. I can't remember the exact situation, but he was staying there anyways. And my uncle has a doggy door, which was new to him and he loved. He was going in and out all the time. But then he also has a backyard, which I've never really allowed him to be in a backyard too long by himself because he's an escape artist. Well, that's what happened. There's a dog across the street that him and the dog used to bark back and forth, just communicating, whatever, stuff like that. And then eventually got out. And again, the one thing that I have not been able to fix with my dog, even though I tried, he has bad manners with other dogs sometimes. Not so much since he's older, but when he's younger, he runs full speed at them because he's so excited to meet them. And, dogs don't like that. They don't want to.
Not every dog is with that. Yeah, exactly. Not every dog
and so he did that. He runs full speed across the street and everything like that to get to this dog to say hi and everything. And there's a little bit of fence syndrome in there as well. And then the pit bull just got him. But his coat is so thick, the pit bull couldn't get through to really get him.
Do some serious damage.
Yeah, if he had a shorter coat, he'd been dead. Absolutely been dead. But his coat's too thick for the pit bull to get through. But so that's what I'm saying. So like it's just those type of things. It's not the pit bull's fault. It's all the behaviors in. And again, because this is the country, this is in where's it at? Hayhira, Georgia. So it's not like a city or anything. This pit bull probably is not seeing another dog or gets to see dogs regularly at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, again, the dog's not socialized, and the dog, bro. If most dogs were just socialized, there wouldn't be that many issues, man. I'm telling you. Other than people getting breeds that they don't know anything about, and those breeds, running amok in their lives, But
yeah, man.
Most dogs, if you just get a puppy and take them out to see people and other dogs and create positive experiences from a young age, that dog is going to grow to be a pretty solid dog around people and other dogs. Yeah, there's still bad habits like jumping and pulling and all this stuff, which are, if you know what you're doing, they're not that hard to curb. But a lot of it too is also understanding your breed. Like
Absolutely.
if you.
All right,
so
brother.
You seem like you definitely understand your breed. So
try to, man. But all right, brother. I'm gonna let you go though. But I want you to leave everybody with that one hot tip for the dog that they can try to implement in their life. What do you got for them?
Okay. One thing I would tell people, man, honestly, one thing I tell people all the time is somebody that loves their dog, is willing to do whatever it takes to train the dog, right? So a good tip for me is take them out and about, show them good experiences in anything you do. Train them early, put them on a schedule, like just, spend time with your dog, bro. Don't just actually take the time to actually raise your dog, really, like there's so much information out there. It's not just one tip, there's just so much. The dog is such a complex animal, so just take the time to try to understand your dog, man. And just, that's it. That's really it. Just take the time to try to understand your dog. That's it. If you do that, bro, you'll be fine. Like you. Honestly, seems like you're fine, bro. And that's because you took the time to research your dog, what to do, to walk him and
all right. We look like we might have lost connection with Luis, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. But thanks, everybody, for listening, and I'll make sure that I have Luis try to tell me what he was saying at the end there. Thanks for checking out this episode of Starting Nowhere. Make sure that you like and subscribe to see more.